Coming at you with another episode of the Church of MHA. We're doing My Hero Academia, chapter 302, live reaction and discussion. We got Archbishop East.
Undefeated of the East, baby. What it do?
We got Bishop Squid.
Hi.
And we got Bishop Sayers.
Finally, I'm back. You don't know how much I'm appreciating being here again.
Oh, Sayers, Mr. Chat. Also, I'm gonna type in the chat right now. So
make
the
sure
chat, see if the chat works. Let's just get that out of the way right now. So, all right. Tyler sent a message. That means the chat's working. Let's go. Brandon De La Cruz back. Tarnishing here. Nano 783. All right. Micro. We live, baby. Let's go. Yes, Tarnish. Your queen is back. All right.
Rejoice,
all right. Oh yeah. Let me send this link to that man real quick.
You already know the man.
So wait, can y'all hear me good?
I can hear you, Squid.
Is it like very faint?
You pretty good. What about for you, East? Can you hear him?
Oh yeah, I can hear him good.
Says, how's his audio for you?
Yeah.
All right, we're all good. Yep. See, everybody's happy to see you, Says. This is great.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I feel really welcome. It's great.
All right, we got 20 people in here. Almost 30 now. Should we just start the chapter? Should I just start reading? Giorno Giovanni is here, one of the leaders of the East faction.
Just jump in.
Yeah,
let's just jump into it.
Yeah, let's go. 302. I'm excited.
Let's go.
What am I missing here?
Oh, is that Bishop
BG?
BG? Hey, Bishop BG's back after taking his hiatus for Valentine's Day.
Well, that's a coincidence.
BG, looky here.
Right, we got Bishop BG back too.
Yeah, you've been actually missing. I seen Sayers around. You've been missing.
I've had shit to do. I was snowed in.
Oh shit. Oh you down bad like that. That's crazy.
Oh, y'all got jumped. That's right. No
I got jumped, but it was a preventable jumping.
Oh no,
that's the
no,
craziest
no.
part.
I don't live in Texas, nigga. My power
ain't that bad.
Yeah, nah.
That's what. Hey, at least you didn't get stomped out on. They only took your stuff. That's it.
Damn. Squid, you gotta stop.
That good, nigga? Shit.
You gotta stop dealing with these motherfuckers. All right.
You right, Micro. You already know. They already know what it is.
We're starting off with a church W. From now on, we're keeping Shoto away from the other kids, like we all talked about the other day. Cool. I'm too busy with work to look after him 24/7, which is why I've hired help. But you, don't take your eyes off Toya. He just wants you to look at him, to notice him. That's all. All I can show anyone is the world of heroes. Heroes, aren't you just running away? Oof. 5 years later. Hey, Toya, let's play. Only daughter Fuyumi at 12. Second son, Natsuo at 8. Oh, sure. Toya, first son, 13. And we get the scene of Shoto looking out again. Third son, Shoto. Don't look at them, Shoto. Your siblings belong to a different world than you. Just this one time, please. Let me play with Toya and them. No, it's time to train your output capacity. He stays Endeavor because he's got the beard on. He's never NG now.
That changed somewhere between these 5 years.
Yeah, like he's permanently Endeavor. He's never NG. No. He's completely locked away himself. He's literally the Bruce Wayne of this series.
Yeah.
The Bruce Lane?
Yeah, because you gotta remember that. Okay, so one of the reasons why Tom King's Batman run is like a little less popular with people is because it focuses a lot more on the Bruce Wayne aspect to the Batman stories than like the Batman side. Like we're talking whole arcs dedicated to like his relationship with Catwoman and stuff. So but like this is kind of like how Batman is structured here. I love it.
Yeah, yo, man, they did my man Bane dirty. They turned him into a recovering crackhead. It was nasty.
Hey, they also broke his back. I mean, that one time was my fault. Little Shoto didn't do anything wrong, but Dad's to blame too. Won't even pay attention to us because we're failed creations. Crazy, right? Is that what modern heroes are all about? Wow, making all these kids they don't even need. Hey, why don't you bug sis about this stuff once in a while? You're telling me to buzz off to Natsuo? Even you? Ooh. I'm talking to you because you're the only one who gets it. You agree, right? The women in this house are good for nothing. Misogyny season? Damn. Toya will be listening in the future.
The last chapter, it was like, well, this is regular 8-year-old, right? And this chapter is good for nothing. It's kind of harsh.
Like, wait.
Oh, this is nothing. Oh, this is nothing.
You're about to run off to that mountain again, aren't you? Why don't you hang out with your classmates once in a while? I don't need friends. We live in different worlds. Ooh. Toya, do you even want to be a hero? As your mother, it looks to me like you're suffocating because of who your father is. And yo, what did oh my God. We talked about this last week too, East, didn't we? I said like sociologically.
Yes, we did.
He wouldn't have been able to be, okay, am I tripping? No, his eye, okay. Am I hallucinating or is Toya's eye in that? Yeah, okay. I'm making sure I'm seeing this right.
What?
Because he's got like double eyes, like irises and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Whew, that was freaking me out. Toya, there are so many paths available, countless options for you. Try looking beyond your father. See what else is out there. If you do that, I'm sure you'll find the man you want to become. Oof. What the hell do you know, Mom? Where'd you get that tidbit? Some self-help book? I know about grandma and them being real poor, so they had to sell you off. You had no choice. Dog called her a hoe. He literally said, "Be
but where does he
gone."
get that information from? I mean,
From the streets she did emerge, and to the street she will return. And I say unto you, she is for the street, so be not wary, where she must return from where she came.
because this is not what you learned last chapter, right? I mean, we didn't even see the grandma.
We saw a granddad.
Yeah.
Dog, he called her a thought. Like, bro, what?
He's been reading that future book, man. The book of misogyny. I love it.
That shit funny, boy.
Dog said turn to Nigalations 12, verse 13. You may be dismissed from my sight, woman. Like, what? I was not expecting this. I was not expecting Toya to be this kind of dude.
Yeah, Ray wasn't expecting it either. I mean,
I don't know why.
Like, this is just a different level of like trash talk. That's all.
you see the way her hair is drawn in that panel up in the upper corner?
Oh, yeah,
Is her hair freezing or what is that?
No, that shit.
It's a joke. Like, wow, you really said
shocking.
that about me.
It shocked her entire system. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, what the fuck? She's like, God, that shit hit to the core, boy.
That's why I was born, right? You're guilty too, Mom. Whew. The fire won't go out. Toya? Winter. Toya, 13. When we see he's out here, got it lit. It's lit. Toya was always small because he came out of the oven a little early, but at long last, he had a growth spurt. Right, it's just another bodily process. My firepower is linked to my feelings, so if I get riled up, I'm pretty awesome if I do say so myself. Oh, so that also means that like his more powerful moves are kind of sealed away when he's fighting people he doesn't care that much about.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Man, Dad's sure in for a surprise. Along with those physical changes, his fire. But dang, when I get worked up, I don't know why I start crying. Changed from red to blue.
Finally, that's explained.
Yep. Listen, Dad, next time you get a day off, you got to come up to Sokoto Peak with me. New burns, where he can keep them hidden. He's been training that way on purpose. Damn it again. No, wait. What I can do now is really cool. You got to come see. I might be as awesome as Shoto sooner or later. Maybe I'll even be better than All Might someday. Then you've got to give me some respect, Dad. You'll be glad you created me. I just know it.
Some respect on my name.
It just hurts.
And then we get the panel. See. Oh, there's so much I told you so within this story. It's crazy.
Oof. Ooh.
Why didn't you stop him?
Ray? Chris Brown.
Damn it, that's all I asked you to do.
Look at that nigga. That was a monster, dog.
Don't bully Mom. Don't stop it. Don't be mean to her. Get out, Shoto. It's none of your business. What the hell do you know, Mom? Yes, my options were limited, but I made my choice and I walked that path of my own accord. I had hoped, if nothing else, that I would have kept smiling, yet I can't stop him. And you didn't go after him. Quit crying already, stupid tears. I thought I'd only be throwing fuel on his fire. No, that's not it. Damn it. The truth is, I had no idea what to say to him. Dad. Neither did I.
That's at the point where his tear
that's just sad.
That's when his tear ducts got burnt, dog.
Yeah. Man, that was hot. The flames can't stop them. Well, that's just desserts. All he ever taught me was how to turn up the heat. Whoa. The whole mountain was ablaze. Jesus.
This nigga true power, son.
He's a natural disaster.
Truly.
See, okay. So what I like about this is that I did see some criticism towards the idea that the big fight with like Shigaraki ended up taking into place in like a big decayed landscape. This is why also though, because post the Shigaraki round, when Toya would have been flying there, cranking out the heat, you know, turning up to the temperature of a red giant, he would have been lighting a bunch of stuff on fire around them. It would have been impossible for them to fight back.
Yeah. Way more impossible. And that would have been too much to even draw on the side. And then plus with Shigaraki's powers, why would he hold back?
Yeah.
For what reason?
So Horikoshi environmentally planning ahead several.
Yeah. Color me not surprised once again. My goat. Yeah.
Oh no, I know. It's crazy. If only I'd given it all up that day. But having killed Toya, I felt there was no turning back. So I poured all my energy into Shoto at the expense of everything else.
Yeah.
Once Toya was gone, you grew worse and worse until I couldn't stand the sight of you. It got so bad I even started seeing hints of you in the children's faces. I knew our family was broken, but I was too scared to interfere. All I could do was try to fix things to just keep up appearances. It was you who started all this. You're the root cause, but maybe if I just slugged you in the face and made you have a few serious talks with him, Dabi never would have come about, and I would have been enjoying some good soba with Shoto all these years. You're not the only one who's responsible, and now we all have to take responsibility for what comes next. Your heart may be broken, but we're here to get you back on your feet. You have no choice but to fight Dabi. Are you really the woman I married? One of our children, one who suffered much more than us. Well, despite having every right to resent me, he started calling me mom again. He's been making friends at UA, and now he's the one saving us. Shoto is our family's hero. Cough. I talked with Mom before we came to see you. I thought this couldn't be your battle to fight, and that I was the only one who could do it, but I was wrong. Once you're done grieving, stand back up, because we all have to stop Toya. Oh, Shoto!
Love it! I told you he's not gonna retire. So happy.
Wow, just when you think he's finally gonna take. Nah, I'm playing.
I just love him. Ugly relief bawling. It's just.
Listen, man. I know BG happy. We already know how to say it still.
Well, of
I'm
course
happy.
Well, of course I'm happy.
Earlier today, I was kind of like
Static.
thinking about how objectively society, no one can afford for Endeavor to retire.
Yeah.
As much as like I've seen people be like, "Oh, I want Endeavor to retire or lose his job, blah blah blah,
It
because
would
he
be
deserves
effectively the worst thing
consequences."
that could possibly happen.
Yeah, like no matter how you feel
Yeah.
about him as a person, I'm gonna be honest. It's like when Water Noose was like, "I'll kidnap 100 children before I let this company die."
Huh.
Endeavor could probably beat 100 kids. And it kind of be
Still
a
need him.
toss-up. Like, it's
I've been saying that.
right
I've been saying that just Endeavor to retire now would just be the coward's move out. That would be pulling himself out of the responsibility because everybody needs him. The world needs him. His son needs him. His family needs him. Toya needs somebody to stop him. I mean, if he retires, that just means leaving it all to Shoto. And Shoto is at least at this point 16 years old, and that would just be the coward's move.
That does mean we could get an Endeavor. This actually makes me more worried about him dying, though.
Yeah, sure.
Because
like
I could easily see him freezing up still when it's finally time to do it. Or because he freezes up, he ends up having to like just body block for Shoto or something like that and ends up dying.
Like I said before, how does this play out going forward? Because like I said, if Endeavor wasn't crippled, he would still eventually get the reins and the balls and the whatever, get his consciousness back to go fight Dabi. And later on, if he's not crippled, he can still fight. He'll get his reins back, and a time will come, and then they have to go take him out. But as we all perceive that Shoto versus Dabi is more so the end game, now you have him getting back up to go do that. So it's still gonna be a hard fight to actually go kill your child. That's not easy.
I don't think the
monster. Yes, it used to be, but it's still kind of your child at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think the goal for none of these people in the room is to kill Toya. So it's not like they are setting out to kill Toya. They're setting out to stop Toya to get him into prison. That's the goal.
I'd have said 10 years earlier, it probably would have been. Sorry.
But I do think that it definitely increases the chances of him dying or being crippled again, and because it will be Shoto against Dabi eventually. It's yeah.
Yeah, like that's the inevitability. Also, no, Google, I do not want to change my name. Donating in the super chat. Father-son prominence burn is back on that table. Now I'm wondering more what Dabi said to Hawks. First off, I lean more towards father-son flash fire fist only because it's like half of Shoto's body, and that way they would both like lean back together, and, you know.
How about a father double son prominence burn with both sons and the father prominence burning?
What a father-son double team flash fire fist.
Hey.
Oh, well, you know what? Speaking of this, I guess I'll touch on this topic again. Once again, listen, once again, this chapter, remember Anarchy, they said the more my emotions spike up, you know, the hotter it's attached to my flames. Once again, me and Tarnish winning with more proof that Dabi is just nothing but a tsundere when he's talking about I don't care about the league.
Yeah.
But when he burned Hawks, specifically after yelling at him about twice, his flames kept increasing in power. And then somebody tried to combat us by saying, well, he kind of like say some his flames were not that hot. No, the course of events was he blasted Hawks. His shit started getting hotter and hotter. He said what he said. And then Tokiyami pulled up, but he saved some gas and tank because he seen Tokiyami planning the move that he planned. And then when he pulled up with his feet on fire, floating in the air, he planned a blast on everything he had left up in the tank. So therefore, once again, Dabi just a tsundere. He actually do give a damn. I never expect this nigga to go crying boo-hooing, but he actually cares about the league for somewhat of a damn.
Yeah. I love how this particular part explains so much that was never really addressed before. And there's for example, how did they never realize this is Toya based on his flames? Because Endeavor probably up until that mountain was up in blue fire didn't know that Dabi always uses blue fire now, because he never saw Dabi Toya use his flames anymore after he was like 8, I guess. And the second thing is that this Dabi, how he got stronger during the war arc suddenly, it's just explained by him getting more emotional. It's great.
Ooh, father-son vanishing fist.
Ooh. Father-son hell curtain.
Jesus.
So what you're saying is, if Hawks was on the hospital battlefield when the Toya reveal happened, he would have gotten baked. Interesting.
Yeah, you see, like he used the promised burn for the first time when his truest, most goal he's been waiting for spiked to that peak. So he's about to use his hottest of the flames when Endeavor was there. So it all perfectly, once again, all tracks again.
But there's also that. But we also learned that the flames here reached 2,000 degrees Celsius, while in the war arc he was able to melt through carbon fiber, which would have, and at that speed it would have taken over 4,000 Celsius. So from 13 to 24, he's gotten massively stronger. Like we're talking a 2 times boost. If you're gonna go in the if we're talking about Kelvin.
One little difference. Sorry, continue.
Oh no.
No, I had a small change of topic. A small.
Yeah, go for it.
Also,
that's just.
I was gonna make a joke about this chapter, how it's misogyny season on the whole family. You know, Toya's been reading that book of Future, but Endeavor took a page out of Chris Brown, if you know what I mean.
Oof. Oof. You're a villain.
Yeah, I have to say this particular panel where he's like super angry at Ray because she didn't stop Toya. That's like demonic almost, right? It's wow.
Keep in mind is children use the same word when they see the same thing, especially at that age. And the only other time we see him use the word bully was when Endeavor slapped Ray.
Oh. What is it? You know that when they were just referencing about how like Toya's emotions make his flame stronger?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Sun went back and checked, and apparently that's kind of he was curious if that is a Toya only thing or applies to the others as well, and he went back and checked, and apparently Shoto also cries when he uses flames.
So it just might in general be like they can only, besides Endeavor, they can only use their full power when they're like, every time you see Endeavor use his prominence burn, he seems pretty desperate. So
yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense for me for the fire quirk to become stronger with emotional, because just if you think about it, they are all very angry. So the energy has to come from somewhere. They're not burning wood or anything. They're burning something. I'm assuming that it's just the emotional heightens the flame. And it fits to a fire quirk that the more passion you have, the stronger it gets.
All right, real quick. BG, you've been kind of quiet.
Yes.
For your boy Shoto and his struggles to be the forefront of this chapter and his family issues.
Oh yeah, no, I'm loving everything I saw here, because especially when I was proven right in a lot of things.
Which things?
I just love roasting Shoto. So if I see him,
I have no reason to roast
taking
Shoto.
his villain away, I'm happy right now.
What do you have?
So I can laugh at him.
What do you have to roast Shoto? But he didn't do anything this chapter.
Hey, I mean, at least they said he's the family hero. I mean,
I didn't particularly like that. I have to admit, I liked it by itself. I didn't like the vicinity to Natsuo and Fuyumi taking blame. I hated that. It was just like, Fuyumi takes blame, Natsuo takes blame. Ray is, we're all to blame, but look at our hero here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I understand the mindset.
No, I understand the mindset too. It's just I hate this that Ray didn't bother to kind of negate the way her other children took the blame, and immediately just said, "Yeah, okay, we all share blame, but Shoto is our hero." I like that they're putting Shoto as the hero, which is great. But the vicinity
to the other to keep in mind is you have to factor in cultural belief when it comes to.
I'm not even just doing.
When it comes to recovery.
No, I'm not even doing that. I'm just looking at the fact that, well, you have to think about it. Even during this, Shoto is the one who's the most innocent in this matter.
No, of course.
I'm not finished. And even after that, he's been the one who's like been slowly bringing the family back together.
No, that's what I'm saying. I have no problem with them putting out Shoto as like a family hero, because Shoto definitely suffered the worst and definitely now is doing a lot of work towards healing everybody. But I really hated the vicinity of praising Shoto to Natsuo and Fuyumi taking the blame and not being challenged on that.
So the one thing that I think that Natsuo's kind of taking the blame for here, which I can kind of see it because it is a little weird that he didn't ever mention the random political rants that his older brother was going on all the time.
I mean, he was like 8. His brother was just annoying him, and he was
right. And that's why I'm like, so on one hand, I'm like, at the end of the day, and like he was, but I'm like that. If he had mentioned that, it probably would have made them be like, wait, what? Okay, maybe we need to look into that a little.
I mean, does anyone willingly want to be in the middle of sleeping just to listen to some,
there is some
3-foot Ben Shapiro? Does anyone really want to do
what
that?
I'm saying though is moreover that like after being woken up to listen to that rant a couple times, it is surprising that he didn't at least like in a one-off complaint like be like, man, Toya keeps waking me up talking about heroes are fake and blah blah blah.
I mean, to be fair, my friend pointed something out that I didn't even notice. Well, it's a good point actually. You notice how whenever like Natsuo brought this up in the past, he made it seem like when Toya came crying and he was over here trying to make him feel better about the situation, and be like, come on, man, like I feel you, this is terrible, fuck that nigga. But no, when we actually see it, it's more like, can you please shut the fuck up? I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah. I don't think, I haven't actually looked it up, but I don't. Did he say that he was talking to Toya?
No,
I only remember him saying that I still hear his words in my head.
He never said anything about what he did, but the way he was talking about it, how remorseful he was, he made it seem like he was like sympathizing with him and like like trying to comfort him. When he talked about it.
And that was how he interpreted it.
Because the way he talked about it, I mean, I'm not saying he has any fault, but he essentially said that like he was remorseful the entire time. His words.
Yeah, but the thing is, he never really said specifically how they talked. I think he only said, Toya talked to me at night, and I still hear his words, and I still feel remorseful. And of course, he feels remorseful because after his brother died, he thought.
Oh, of course.
If I had talked to him, maybe he would have.
What this kind of reveals is that Natsuo's low key taking out some of his guilt on Endeavor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's exactly what I'm getting at. It's like, it's not that I'm saying he lied to anybody. It's more about the fact that when he talked about this, you almost think like you're led to believe, like it's not stated, but you're led to believe that when this happened, he was over here consoling his brother about all the pain he was feeling due to Endeavor. But when in actuality, he didn't do shit, and that's why he feels the way he does about Endeavor, because it's almost like, oh damn. I'm like, what is it? If I would have said something, maybe this wouldn't happen. But because that I have to project all my feelings onto you. And it's great. I love that.
Because like there's a certain level of, because regardless of whether or not he could have said something, there is a certain level of, okay, I really should have at least, actually talked to him about his feelings when he was talking to me. Like regardless, there is no way to spend like, you got to be empathetic once in a while, my guy, and like
but he also.
But Natsuo's suggestion of like him saying that he should have slugged Endeavor, like, dog, did you have the linebacker body when you were 8? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, I find it interesting because I think in the scans, I think that's one thing that is different to the scans. I think the scans, he says he should have hit Toya and punched some sense into him, something like that. I think he says that in the scans.
No. Like I don't like seeing that line, because it's not because I have a problem with the line. It's because I was actually, the reason I was so quiet is because I was scrolling Twitter because I was curious. Because like, you know how it's been in the last few weeks where everybody's been trying to nitpick the fuck out of the dialogue.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm waiting for something. I'm sure I'm gonna find one of those posts. Luckily, I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, like
this is
this is one of those.
Know what
I would guarantee
little
the editor did
Natsuo
something.
would have done.
Since you were both talking at the same time, I don't know what you said, either of you.
Sorry.
I said I guarantee this will be like an editor change if there's an issue with that, because like they'll be like, I'll make it sound like he should have punched. He said punching Endeavor because maybe people won't feel comfortable with him saying he punched Toya or something like that. Is more than likely what it'll be.
That's dumb.
Like some editor doing some weird shit like that, because we've seen, like, anybody who still like has access to Caleb is like seen enough translation tidbits and all kinds of other stuff posted where it's like there's other translators that I understand that, but like with Caleb, he's like literally dedicated to the extent where I'm like, I don't think he's just dropping like terrible shit. I think something's going on with the editing.
Conspiracy theories are more fun.
We got a super chat. I wanted to speak, but we got a super chat, and we got Shiro, and we got JD.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey.
Yo, what's up?
JD?
Hold on, he got the VR. Yo, Shiro, stop playing with these.
What? This man pulled up with the VR.
Jiro's a VTuber?
You know.
Yo, guys.
And we got
Yeah,
Ponzu.
Ponzu.
Hey, Ponzu, I need to talk to you, man. Look at my boy.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, guys.
No, you need to let JD talk. This is his favorite character.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because JD, go ahead, give your thoughts.
Well, hold on. Shiro got here first, and then we got JD.
Okay, you right.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
then we got the Google. We got 2 Google tests. No, he got 1 from Whack.
Yeah, let me hit that. Let me hit that chat real quick.
JD Legend is here. Nice.
Do you believe one of the big payoffs to Shoto's arc will be his hero name? The story seems to have been real quiet about that. I'm personally in the camp that Shoto's gonna name himself Endeavor eventually, but I realize that that's probably very controversial. Anyway,
I have thought about that too. I'm not sure.
is.
The thing is, the longer Endeavor stays in the game, the more unlikely it becomes somehow. But I find it more and more likely for whatever reason, because and Shoto has said at multiple times that Endeavor is a great hero.
Yeah.
So he doesn't dislike Endeavor. He just
I mean, I don't think that would make a difference. Even if it made logical sense, niggas are gonna be mad no matter what.
I don't give a fuck about niggas. I give a fuck about the
I
actual
mean,
writers.
you notice the costume is changing too.
it's
so that's all I'm
definitely
gonna say.
controversial.
They all listen, and everything that Horror Question do is controversial, no matter what it is. It's always something. Even if he didn't do it on purpose, he did it on purpose. So I really don't care at this point. But to talk about that,
Hold on,
I still got money on Enzy
Let's give
dying.
a thought.
I still got money on Enzy dying.
East. We letting Shiro speak.
Why didn't you say that?
Nigga. Anyway, Shiro, go.
Let the man speak. It's not. Oh man, no, it was a great chapter. Endeavor, man. I don't know about you, but you need to to go outside, tell everybody, I'm on this shit. Everybody, the top 10. Oh, the top 10 is dead, man. They're fucked. I don't know what they're gonna do, but he needs to find something. Him and his family need to do something about Toya. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I think what Aniki said about the final fight in the new home. I think now more than ever that's gonna happen. The final part of this whole family drama is gonna happen now. I was like, nah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but now when I think about it, yeah. Endeavor is gonna die there, and Todoroki, his character, I don't know where he's gonna go from there, but it's gonna be interesting. You all talking about the kids saying, yeah, I'm guilty, and some were not didn't agree with that. I get it. I found that real too for Fuyumi and Natsuo to say that, but I think that's just how they feel, but it's not really the fact that yeah. When I think about it now, they are not guilty. They were kids. We didn't know better. The adults were the one who needed to know better, you know. And I think that's just how they feel. But I think Ray or Endeavor should say to them, no, it's on us. We are gonna help each other, but no. it's on us, and we are gonna move forward in all of this. So yeah, I'm happy about that, and I can't wait for more.
Yeah, just quickly, I have no problem with Natsuo and Fuyumi saying that they feel guilty, because I understand that from emotionally from their perspective. My problem is more so with Ray just going with it and not Ray just answering, "We're all guilty." That's more what I have a problem with.
I get it. Yeah.
Like I just understand emotionally where everybody's coming from
could,
as far as
smack some sense into Angie though.
Did I'm obviously early here. Oh, well, not early, late. But did anyone have any criticism of the chapter before I talk about it?
I have, but
Only at that one thing with the children. Apart from that, it was good. It was
so you didn't like Fuyumi or Natsuo taking blame for how Toya ended up?
It annoyed me a little, but it was not that big of a deal, you know.
Well, from my personal point of view, at the end of the day, as a family, the family structure is really important, right? And I think the scene of Toya trying to be consoled by his younger brother, Natsuo not, at least hearing him out and listening, that just serves to isolate him more. And the problem with Toya is that he was isolated. And that was the thing. It's like he has siblings outside of Shoto, and he was isolated by everyone in his family. So he actually felt alone from everyone. So at the end of the day, whether you intentionally did it or not, you have a hand in that. If you're family, you're supposed to be there for each other. And Natsuo and Fuyumi didn't take that seriously enough. Granted, they're younger, so they have more leeway to go, but you still have those natural instincts. If that's your brother, if that's your sister, you should feel some familial bonds there. And it's the same thing with the mother. The mother didn't go out of her way to, make Toya feel bad, but the way she acted, she alienated him, and she tried to talk to him, and Toya wouldn't listen, which is why they're all taking blame for it, because they're a family at the end of the day. And that was the whole point. The point is that they as a family are broken. It started with Endeavor, but everyone has their hand in it. And I think the reason why I'm so proud of how Horikoshi has made me a Dabi stan is that Dabi let everybody know you fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up, and you fucked up. I may be fucked up, but y'all had a hand in this too. And it goes to serve the purpose that he's the first child. And they emphasize that so much, is that he's the first child. I was born with the purpose of fulfilling Endeavor's dream because I was the first son.
Yeah.
He made that very clear. So for him, his younger siblings, he must think he's a failure in their eyes as well. But they don't do anything to alienate, to alleviate that fear and that pain. And they don't even hang out with him.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
They ask to play ball. That's for you, me coming to hang out.
How often?
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a question how often, but it's also like Natsuo here says, why do you talk to a sis once in a while, which implies that they've been talking more, and he hasn't really listened to him. But it's kind of implied that they do hang out, because they did hang out in this scene. It's kind of implied that Toya talks to Natsuo all the time, because he says once in a while, which seems like Toya never lets Natsuo sleep and just which is by itself problematic. I think if your 13-year-old brother whispers into your ear all the time that you're born a failure, which that is problematic.
Well, and then also,
I understand that Natsuo doesn't want to hear it.
Panzu wanted to go, I think.
Well, quick question, because one thing you have to take into effect that Toya is also a child. He's not going to relate to his parents. The only people he can relate to are the children within his vicinity. So at the end of the day, the children have a responsibility for him to be able to relate to somebody. Natsuo, he treated it more as a chore than actually caring about his brother's plight. And you can see that by his reaction.
And
yeah, but it's also, I mean, just look at Toya, what Toya is telling him. Toya is apparently coming to him regularly at night saying, by the way, we are both born failures, and aren't they all shitty people? Of course he doesn't want to hear it. I mean, that's just an 8-year-old kid.
I doubt that it was. I doubt that he talked to him only when he was sleeping. I think that's crazy to think that he was always doing that way. But, I think he had plenty of time to talk about in other situation, So I think Horikoshi decided to show us that time, but I doubt it was only this way he was communicating with his brother. Yeah.
It's probably like
Real
an
quick.
Alex Jones in like the middle of the night, you know.
Real quick, acknowledging the super chat. Also, shout out to Roger, who's in the chat, but he's doing his Naruto watch through, so he's not coming through for the discussion. That's okay, because that Naruto watch through, I'm enjoying watching the highlight clips.
Yes.
I wanted to ask
Naruto became Jesus.
also on my new mic.
Don't remind me.
Real quick super chat. I think you guys are scrutinizing Natsuo too hard. This is not the only time Toya talked to him this way. It was probably the 100th. I'm just saying I don't think Natsuo was lying about the talks.
Yeah.
I never said he was. Never said he was lying. I prefaced that already. My statement was never that Natsuo lied. It's that the way the story presented it was that fucking Toya talked to Natsuo about his problems, and Natsuo consoled him and made him feel and tried to make him feel better about it, even though he couldn't do anything about it. That's how the story tried to present it.
Yeah,
but
it's
then
very recontextualized.
Yeah, but then when you actually see what actually happened, you're like, oh, so that's why that this explains a lot about his character as well. It's not to say that Natsuo's a piece of shit for being an 8-year-old and saying, "Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to sleep."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that he lied or that he said anything wrong or even that he tried to portray himself in a better way. I think it's more so that the way it was phrased in the story and what we knew about the characters beforehand made us interpret this scene very differently, and now it looks it's recontextualized.
Before I go,
hold on, real quick. I do want to say it very much does make Natsuo seem a lot more. I was here for him, man. I was holding him down. You were out here making my brother upset. Like that is like the energy that Natsuo brings towards Endeavor does seem indicative of that.
Yeah.
And we see that he kind of takes like a laissez-faire approach where he's like, sure, nigga.
That's why I said that's how the story presents it, because he never actually said those words. We just interpret it that way because of how the story frames it in the conversations.
Yes.
I think it's my phone. What the fuck?
I didn't hear him give his thoughts, reading nothing.
Yeah, I want Ponzo to go real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so just read the chapter. I don't know why I'm underwhelmed.
You're underwhelmed?
It's more it's more about the. I just wanted to. No, I'm just like I'm not sure what Endeavor was saying now, because we just had a flashback on the scene, back then, that he thought that these children as failures, but we don't see these words. We don't see these words, so I don't know what's happening right now. Maybe I need to rewatch.
I'm now perfectly convinced that Toya whispering into Natsuo's ears brought this word failure into the game.
No. That's the thing about it is that it's Shoto who said it. And the thing is that they separate the children because of if Toya started to talk in the night to Shoto, okay, I will have believed that maybe him I will say the snake, but man, he showed as a child you don't remember him saying like that he his father saw them as failures. I don't think that it is. That's the thing. That's the thing about it.
Wait,
so
do you believe? Ponzo, I have an explanation for that. I think because especially when you look at the fact that while Shoto was kept away from them, he does seem to have more interactions with Fuyumi by the time school starts. More than likely, he got to have at least like a couple conversations with Fuyumi, who still also would have had the phrasing of Toya. So, like that would have been explained how this is how Toya felt.
I could have just gone off the fact of if fucking. No. I was gonna say I could have just got. I just think that if Toya could come to that conclusion himself, and if he's on one end of a spectrum and Toya's Shoto's on the other, why is it so far fetched for him to come to the same conclusion?
I mean, because he spends all his time with that.
Did Shoto use the word failure? I don't remember.
Guys, I didn't finish, bro. Damn.
I just said he did, but I'm saying because him and Toya are just on two ends of the same spectrum.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't really think it's too far fetched for him to come to the same conclusion.
Yeah. Though I do think the siblings also talk because
let
me just finish my stuff. I'm just Toya being misogynistic. Guys, you use big words for kids that talk about stuff, bro. Chill out.
Fucking crying.
Not kids. So the man was 13 years old. He said that women don't ain't shit. He's 13 years old, man. And you see the film that he lives in and the world that he views this world. And you saw something like he was really choosing to hate women. Whoa.
GTA exists in this world. He probably played too much GTA.
Well, you know, it's funny that
he was a PC gamer, bro.
Yes, exactly.
It's funny that he mentions that because I think what Horikoshi's doing here is dangerous for the very loud SJW fan base of My Hero.
Oh yeah.
Because now we're on what he's done is the perception of Endeavor has almost changed completely, where everyone thought he was a horrible person to begin with, when it turns out he was just a troubled father. He's become worse and worse. Yeah, he's spiraling, and that's what's happening. And it's like people don't understand humanity sometimes, and that humanity can go in different directions based on your decisions and your own ideals and ambitions. And that's why I love Endeavor so much, is because it's his story is so gray that you can have so many different opinions on it, but you appreciate the fact that it is gray and it's not just so cut and dry.
Yeah. Well, you also have to keep in mind that it's also inherently, you just kind of see evil as more inhuman, even though when it comes to like the act of doing these terrible things that we ascribe to evil is kind of ingrained in human history. We kind of see humanity as inherently good, so when we see evil, it's hard to believe that was a human, but there were all humans.
Yeah, I think
my thing is.
Sorry,
you had it.
So yeah, let me just finish. The thing about me, I don't have to finish the stuff, so I just let me just finish just my.
Vas-y, frère, vas-y.
Okay?
Vas-y, parle.
So the thing about it is that in this whole chapter, I thought about this. I talk about it like past week. About for me, the Endeavor was really the focus for me in this chapter, because I knew that everything was like circling around him. Endeavor is the sun, and every character in this situation is our planets that turn around him. You know what I mean? It is because Endeavor put the inputs that everybody had to adapt to the situation, and they didn't do it at the best way. That's why you have the problem with the mother, Ray, how that she adapted. That was the thing. I'm not French, I'm Belgian, but I talk French. That's the thing difference. So yeah.
Oh.
So the thing about when you think about it is that everybody has see that they're same at fault. It is something that you really have in families. In families, like even in African culture, when somebody in the family goes astray or do something bad, it is the whole family that feels they have to take the blame for. It is something that they have to take the blame for. So everybody try to see how we can better the family. The thing about Toya was a misguided kid from the at the moment, because he built his identity about something that could crumble, and it's like having the dream of being a basketballer every day, but that you learn that you have a unhurt illness that you can do any sport. So your dreams just crackle. You know what I mean? That's the thing that happens for Toya. There's a thing that happened for Toya, and he kept training in not in the backyard but in the park of the city of nearby. He kept training with people. He kept falling. having sometimes heart strokes, and you could see the aftermath on his skin. That's the thing that's how you have to analyze the situation. About his father, and Endeavor is the best, in one of the best basketball. Imagine playing with MJ. MJ is the best and baller, and you're just the guy in the you're the guy who's next to MJ. You're just the number 2. But
Be like
MJ
Scottie
is MJ,
Pippen, right?
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like Scottie Pippen.
Facts. So the thing about it is that he's the son of Scottie Pippen. So because he's the son of Scottie Pippen, everybody expects him to be one of the best in the game. Everybody know when he played basketball, even if Herdiness expect him to be the best of the game, and for himself too, he built that I wanted. So for me, I just wanted.
Sorry, continue.
So for me, the thing about me, so that stuff about the family was something that was done really well for me. My problem, right, for me is that that Endeavor stuff, because right now I have questions. So I need to rewatch. So like I told you, I need to rewatch or reread My Hero Academia just to see if it fits well. Because for me, Endeavor went the way that he was presented. He was presented as a monster. It was a way of Ricochet to show how many people's view about stuff can be when, because they have a certain view, but other people have, if you see other people's perspective, you have another input. But the thing for me is that I really wanted that side of Endeavor calling his kids failures. I really want that this to be true. You know what I mean? Just not in like, it feels like it was just the feeling that Shoto developed it with time. It is something that it feels like this right now, and I don't really like it. But yeah, maybe
Shoto's gonna die.
Wait. No. My problem with this chapter, I wanted to see the Endeavor that we saw in the beginning. That was at least the start of it. You know what I mean? The way that.
But that kind of defeats the point of the chapter.
Hold on. I want to let him finish before I talk.
No. The thing about it is, it's more like to show that how Endeavor, his fixation. I really wanted to show that from where Endeavor started. You know what I mean?
We see that.
I understand No, yeah. The thing about it is that Endeavor, the way that he was portrayed, was like he was a monster, man. Maybe, just like I said, I need to rewatch. I need to rewatch some stuff, to read some stuff, just to have a clearer picture. And I might come next week with something else to talk about it. But yeah, guys, what you have to say right now?
Okay, let me go right now, because I was holding my tongue for quite a minute. So after I go, I want to trade off with Watkins, because he hasn't spoken properly this entire time. I'm waiting on him to actually get in, so I can still hold my tongue and come back. So Watkins, you want to comment on what Panzu said in the chapter?
I'll comment on the chapter. So with chapters like these, I always try to find one thing I can really take away from it, and it's the line that Natsuo says. And I think everyone who reads My Hero Academia, who want to stand up for something or whatever, I think they should look at this. It was you who started all of this. You're the root cause, but that right there is the biggest thing, because a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Ray is just trying to, what's the term? It's about like supporting her abuser and all that, where that's not the case. Endeavor was the root cause of everything, yes, but everyone else, whether they were kids or whatever, they each had a part to play in the creation of Dabi. So that's why they're all coming together. That's why they're going to help Endeavor become a better person, because this is something that Horikoshi is doing so well with Endeavor's story, is writing the gray area, because Nobody likes the gray area. The gray area exists in our lives, but nobody wants to ever talk about it because it's always got to be either right or wrong. No, this is the gray area. This is Endeavor finding out that he is a broken man with a broken family, realizing that what he did was wrong. He should have consequences, yes, but to immediately brush somebody off because of the things they've done in their past, somebody who's actually actively trying to do better in their life, we shouldn't let them just go and just suffer for the rest of their life, especially if they're trying to be better. You know, and that's what we're seeing with Ray and the rest of the family, is that they see that, yes, Endeavor fucked up in his past. They hurt each and every one of them. They understand that. But because of Shoto, whose character jumped up tremendously for me in this chapter, being the hero of the family, putting everybody together in a more realistic way instead of how Fuyumi tried with, oh, let's just have a dinner together and just try to be nice. No, that's not how you do it. You have to do it in steps, Fuyumi, or with Natsuo, just ignoring everything and just having hatred for Endeavor. No, that's not how you do it, dude. No. They are coming together now because of Dabi, because they realize they fucked up. They all fucked up. Even though the root cause is Endeavor, they are all taking responsibility for everything they're doing. And again, I praise Horikoshi for writing the gray area and showing us that there is a gray area. This is, and I'll get off my soapbox in just a second, but this is why people hate My Hero Academia, because it shows you how human nature is.
Yes.
It shows you how human we can be, and how, like, Horikoshi understands the human condition so well in his story, but people hate that because they just want their little battle shonen manga to be all like, oh, let's punch the villain, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm done.
Well, I mean, that's like,
but yeah.
That's one of the biggest.
That's a nice statement. Just
hold on.
Super chat from Jose.
I'd sign off on that.
That says Natsuo a bum. Continue.
Yes,
I agree.
I'll go with that.
At all. I don't like that.
But yeah.
He's annoying. He's annoying.
Can I go now? Oh, right.
Yes.
You got it then, JD.
Okay. So Mbanzu, I wanted to touch on what you said, as in like talking about Endeavor being the thing. It's like basically Watkins point out all the blueprints that you needed to know. It's about how everything is recontextualized because it's perceived as black and white when you get the nuance of how everything actually is. Like basically it's the same thing as the Eraserhead. You think he was like this before, but you get his entire story, and especially you read Vigilante, just those like 6 chapters, you're like, okay, the reason he's so hard and operate the way he operates and keeps people at a distance because he lost somebody close to him in that regard. And that firing the kids, it all came back around, was like, why the fuck would he do that? But then bringing the kids back, it was like to teach them a lesson, because this shit is real out here. He knows what it's actually like. So holding their hands is not going to cut it when niggas think like, oh, we made it to the best. We the best of the best. We can take it easy, but that's not how real life works. You get out into the field, and as you've seen, niggas can actually die. Like, yeah, we haven't seen it with these kids now, but that's because the story is the way it is. But like before, Shirokun was probably, I'm pretty sure, one of many, especially when all forms talk about how UA is what it is. So what the thing with Endeavor is that who's the first child we had? Who's the first child we had the perspective from? The most youngest child who'd had the least amount of good times compared to everybody else, right? His perspective is all about perception and perspective. The way I perceive somebody, or like if I don't know somebody, right? Let's just say they say like, yo, JD is like one of the greatest guys out there, this, that, and other, like, you know, he's phenomenal, flawless. And then you come back around and be like, yo, BG just this vile, nasty guy. And you show me a clip where he cursing somebody out, but you gave me no context. But this is how you presented me, and I trust you, your words, because you know the guy, right? But then I watched the video, right? And I'm like, okay, now I see that BG had a reason to be this way. And then I see JD actually has darker sides to him. It's like everybody has a darker side. So like you build up from then you get Fuyumi's perspective. Why she is the way she is because she had a good time before shit went down the shitter. Before Shoto really got there, and before it got that bad with Toya. Then Natsuo, he's kind of in there and he's kind of feeling it. And then you see now like why he feels the way he feels and his hatred toward Endeavor, because they got them beating on their mom, yelling at them and shit. And Shoto had nothing but shit from Endeavor, so he doesn't know what the good times and all that is like. So as you come up in a ladder and you put all the pieces together, like, okay, this came from over here, this came from over here. Then you put it all together. Now you have the entire picture of what that was truly like and how that done. Because honestly, I feel bad for that fucking child. Like that child was nothing but the fucking neglected. Why do you bro? Like this is like JD was saying. He spit everything I need to say. Like, bro, you have nobody to go to. Yeah, they play soccer with him, but I don't want to talk about soccer. That's not my life. That's having fun.
Exactly.
My life is being a hero,
Bro.
Nobody, bro. Listen to me. This is like us talking to the void. It's like if you had nothing to go on Twitter and talk to MHA, that people that don't read. You don't have the stream. You don't have a group chat. You don't have anybody. You're the only person that understands what's going on, what you're feeling. But it's consistently you going to talk to people like, ask whatever, man. It's some cool art, but it's just no real story to it. And we're like, bro, what are you talking about? I can't resonate or feel with you because they're like, yeah, we're playing soccer. That's cool, but he's going to destroy his body just so he can prove that his father that he's worth something. That's going to punch a wall, break a wall, bust your head, just say, look at me. Give me something, please. Like, bro, that shit is absolutely tragic.
Like, East, hold on. Okay, real quick. Hold on. Real quick, because East, you've been going so long, I had a super chat come up and expire in time.
Damn.
So, I'm going to read this super chat out, okay? From now on, y'all got to start thinking about how long you rambling. What's your opinion on Roger going ham on MHA yesterday, calling the show trash, mid, and anyone who defends the show has no taste? Thoughts?
You did that?
My stance on that is like either Roger said that as bait or that's a bait super chat. I don't know which one.
I don't believe it.
Makes no sense anyway.
Roger doesn't seem like the type that would say something like that.
I think he's talking about.
Okay. This explains it. Yeah, this was definitely bait. This is like when he said Sakura was greater than Deku, because the context is it was during one of his Naruto streams and people were yelling at him to make My Hero content again. Yeah, he was definitely trolling.
Yep.
I think JD wants to say something.
No. It's on the JD real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. But then can I go next?
Yeah.
I think one, I am not a fan of Natsuo's character, and I don't think I ever have been, to be honest. He's always come off as extremely childish and petty. But he has a justification.
Somewhat petty.
Well, no, I think it's petty. I think he has a
somewhat.
He has a justification for his anger, but he does not. It seems as though when you can just tell that it's like he's over exaggerating something. It's like, you know, when people like explain what they went through and you listen to Shoto and you listen to Fuyumi and everything like that. Shoto, he had genuine hatred, like genuine hatred. You saw it. With Natsuo, he's always come off to me as petty and naive. And then in this chapter, I was so happy because it really confirmed that Natsuo is petty and naive, just because you were there. You saw everything go on. You had an opportunity to save your brother and you pushed him aside. And the funny thing about it is that we have situations like this with people who end up, you know, tragically taking their lives. And they think there was a time where I could have been there for them and I didn't do it because I didn't take it seriously enough. And you put that blame on yourself, right? In this situation, Natsuo came into the same situation as before, but he deep down inside, he knows he could have done something to change it, but it's easier to put it all on Endeavor. It's easy. And it's an easy way out, and it's naive and it's petty. And to me, it's like, again, I'm not saying he's unjustified for the way he feels, but it doesn't change the fact that he's naive and petty. And I don't like that character. So Natsuo to me is a bum, certified bum. And I'll never like that nigga ever.
Okay.
The bitch ass nigga. That's what he is.
There is something I want to address, JD, though.
That's true. Real
quick, hold on.
JD, say that Natsuo is the blind.
Real quick, I want to address this, though. Like, Natsuo, like, conceptually, when he's first introduced, like, character-wise, is great, because he does represent a certain thing that, like, when you have an abusive parent that you have to deal with, which is like,
of course,
you might not be ready to like really go through that. But the thing that does make Natsuo a bum that I kind of agree with on this one, though, is like, you barely went through that and you didn't really try to help. So you kind of co-opt in other people's struggle.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Like,
can I talk off the squid?
Yes. So squid,
I don't want
you
to
go then say yes.
Squid's time away.
Okay, so I think I have a pretty interesting point to bring about failure. And the idea of, especially children at this age, they learn not only through what you tell them, they learn through their environment. So you can say that, oh, I am so considerate of you. I think so highly of you. But if the only person in your family that's constantly getting attention at a consistent rate is the person who's been chosen for the dream, what does that inform the subsequent children who aren't in that realm? They're in a different world, but that world is absent of Endeavor. Almost like because of their genetics, they are locked away. So they can eventually learn to imply that, even though we can never say that.
Who's shuffling something against
EG, I think.
That's my fault.
Is that what you're going to say, Squid?
Yeah, that's what
Are you
I'm going
done?
to say.
All right.
Yeah.
First, I have three things to say, actually. First, in regards to what Squid just said, the whole thing with the different worlds I find very interesting, because I don't think it's so much this genetical thing. It seems to be more so the world of the heroes and the world of the not heroes. The idea that Endeavor purposefully stepped away from Toya, and I think by association from the other two children too, because he wanted to separate the world from the heroes from Toya, not so much because he thought that he was genetically inferior. Of course, that's kind of one of the consequence of the other, of course. But it seems to me like Endeavor was purposefully trying to keep the world of the heroes away from Toya. So it's not just that he separated Shoto to protect Shoto from Toya, but also the other way around, that he separated Shoto because Shoto in his mind is part of the world of the heroes, and he doesn't want Toya to ever interact with that world, which is, of course, why I think that if we now compare the different flashbacks from the different League of Villains members, I think Toya is mostly a direct victim of hero society, because there is no way to separate the world from the heroes from any other world in the society, because heroes are everywhere. You can see that last chapter, he says things like everybody in class is talking about heroes. So there is no way to separate these two. That was the first thing.
And that was one of the things that I said before, is that from a social angle, nothing Endeavor could have done. Yeah. Once, like even if Endeavor hadn't said,
hold on, big news. Hold on, big news.
What?
The official MHA Twitter has announced they made a mistake during dialogue. So you grew worse and worse until I couldn't stand the sight of you. It got so bad, I even see hints of you in the children's faces. They announced they made a mistake in the dialogue.
Okay. What's the mistake?
Where is it? Like, is someone on Viz or?
So it's it was it was a mistake. They're gonna get it corrected.
Viz Media said this?
Where?
The official MHA Twitter.
I went there. I don't see that there at all.
Can we maybe wait until they actually announce what the mistake was, until they...
It must be you grew worse and worse until I couldn't stand the sight of you. It got so bad I even started seeing hints of you in the children fest.
Yes. Can you link that? I don't see it anywhere.
I linked it here.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I ain't see shit.
Well, let me just continue, I guess.
Yeah.
Nigga, you had the Japanese one. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Official.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about was the second thing. So that's three things in regards to Natsuo. The thing is, I really don't blame him for anything he does, but I do think that he did feel responsible and hit this responsibility that he feels himself, which is somewhat, I think, not completely misguided, but somewhat misguided, because I don't think he had a duty to listen to Toya here, because he wanted to sleep, and it's not like just because you're siblings you have the right to tell your to hinder your brother sleeping. He's just a kid and he wants to sleep, and I don't blame him for that in that regard. But I do think that he did feel responsibility. And I do feel that he did shift this responsibility that he felt on Endeavor, and I do think that Dabi's actually doing the same. Because if you look at what Dabi says when he burns to death, which is, my dad only ever taught me to turn up the heat. But we know for a fact that Endeavor didn't teach Toya at all for the last 5 years. So Endeavor didn't teach Toya how to turn up the heat either. Endeavor didn't teach Toya basically nothing. So yes, he didn't teach him to turn down the heat, but he also didn't teach Toya to turn up the heat. And this is adult Dabi thinking back to the situation, and it's somewhat telling that even adult Dabi can't see that this is not Endeavor teaching him to turn up the heat. This is he himself taught himself to turn up the heat, which doesn't mean it's not Endeavor's fault, but it's still a different framing of the situation.
Real quick. Super chat from I Type Long comments about Spider-Man. Just like Spider-Man, I always come back. He's the greatest character except way cooler. That's why Hori gave Deku his powers. You thought I was gone, didn't you, Squid? Still love you though.
To address the issue.
Sorry, actually, I was about to say that too. I was about to say what's his name? Deku's notebook, he explained what the change was in the dialogue when it says once Toya was gone, you grew worse and worse. That once Toya was gone part, you have to take that out.
Yeah,
it's just you grew worse and worse.
Okay.
It fixed the timeline because we were talking about this in the scans. We were talking about like it may be issue, and I told him to just wait for like the actual thing to come out. And once again, Horikoshi had it in the bag. It's just somebody else made the mistake on that part when doing the dialogue.
Oh no! Oh no! That's not what it is. Because it's the Japanese one that said this. So it said it was in Jump that the issue came into being. So I'm thinking
it was an actual mistake, not.
Yeah, so I think it was actually
because people thought he actually messed up the timeline, but like I said, you just had to wait for it to get corrected because he didn't switch it. It was just a mistake was made. That was simply it.
Oh, of course. I'm just saying, like, I feel like people are gonna probably blame Caleb for this, but the issue here is actually that was actually a Hori mistake.
Yeah. Right.
People are gonna blame Caleb no matter what because hating on translations is fun.
Yeah, I mean, they did it with One Piece and Stephen Paul, so it's a common thing.
Yeah, like it is what it is.
At least that little mistake, error is gone.
There was a good comment in the chat about Shoto only seeing the worst side of Endeavor compared to the other children.
Yeah.
I think that's what Hawkins said, right? Or somebody said this.
Yeah, somebody said it. Okay, because
you said it. He said it. Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it that way, and our perception of Endeavor is only Shoto's perception until we get the full story.
Yeah.
And I think it's Horikoshi's proof that there's more than one story. There's always two sides to the story, and I think it's funny because low-key, I think Horikoshi might be putting a big middle finger to a lot of his fan base by everyone being so cut and dry and black and white, where you realize, like, imagine everything you've gone through. Someone only telling
retconning that shit.
I love it because actually, what I talked about in the video I made yesterday,
so annoying.
And actually, this was the last thing I want to talk about because Panzer said this that he wanted to see Endeavor as the monster, and I think there are quite a few fans who wanted to see Endeavor as the monster again, which of course makes little sense because we know that Endeavor is a nuanced character, and it's not like he became a nuanced character out of nothing after coming aboard. He always was a human, and we just didn't see it before because he was first introduced by the child he literally treated the worst, and not just by the child he treated the worst, but even by the child while the child was in a mental state that was very bad because up until Sports Festival, Shoto was very angry. This was not the reflected, quiet, calm Shoto that we know now. This was the very angry and isolating himself Shoto that only wanted to embarrass his father, apparently.
We're talking about a Shoto that was so angry that his entire costume design was "fuck my dad." We're talking about a Shoto that was so pissed off that like he managed to meet Anasa and forget him because he was that dismissive of other people.
Right, which makes perfect sense why he would portray Endeavor in the worst possible way because he doesn't know any other version of Endeavor and he is very angry at Endeavor.
Exactly.
Still. And of course now we know different.
And it's like Natsuo is acting like he's Shoto, and I'm just like, bro. Again, it's iffy because you can't really judge people's experience and their pain and what bothers them. So maybe I shouldn't have called him a bitch ass nigga. Maybe I should have held that off. But at the same time, I think it's like there has to be a moment in time where you come under the realization that okay, Shoto's the one who truly suffered here, and you have a larger account of how Endeavor really was more than Shoto ever did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not sure if Natsuo remembers Endeavor during the good times either.
I think he chooses to ignore it.
Doesn't.
Fuyumi, I think Fuyumi was the one.
No, and Natsuo never knew Endeavor because Natsuo was like 2-3 years old when Endeavor became unbearable. He wouldn't remember it.
Was he? Because
think back to last chapter, right, JD, where he attacks Toya's attacking. You can tell Natsuo is like 2-3.
He's 3 years old at that point.
Yeah, he's going to be like 3 years old. So, because when Natsuo was introduced, in fact, in the volume, he's 19 and Shoto's introduced at 16. So they're 3 years apart. So it's like from the time he was 3, him and Endeavor weren't living together.
Yeah.
So all he really knows is the shit Toya told him. Yeah. And then like some of the shit
hearing his mother and brother cry and not even meeting his mother because his mother is taking care of Shoto. That's basically to Natsuo's. Natsuo suffered. That's clear. Yeah. Natsuo, I think we can say probably suffered not as much as Shoto. And I think that's maybe the problem of this flashback, that a lot of people look at it, and because it portrays Endeavor in a somewhat better way than some people expected, therefore we assume the abuse that actually happened is somehow less. It's not less, and Natsuo didn't know his father at all. His father never really looked at him. Guys. Ray didn't spend much time with Natsuo because Ray did spend all the time with Shoto, and he also listened to the whole abuse that happened. So Natsuo was abused, not Natsuo suffered. It's just that because now it's kind of we understand it now because Endeavor looks a bit better in this flashback than some people expected. We're now assuming that the abuse was somehow better, which it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. We're not saying what the real issue though is moreover that like when you have this level of aggression from Natsuo, you would think he got the Shoto or the Toya treatment, where you had like that whole here's an idea, let me take it away from you. But like,
I mean, I'm not sure if Natsuo's treatment is better or worse than Toya's, to be honest.
Well, I think it's more of the case of I think it's more of the case of Shoto is the one who's actually opening up to Endeavor more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the comparison between Shoto, who suffered so much more than Natsuo did, and that's not even the debate. It's just the fact that Natsuo is so aggressive, like he was saying. I think it's the aggression compared to how Shoto's receiving everyone's differently, but it comes off as petty and naive.
Yeah, but I think Natsuo's aware of it because Natsuo has this idea. Remember back in Endeavor Agency, where he's like, he feels like he's unkind and he feels bad for not being able to forgive Endeavor. It gets back to this whole point where Natsuo knows that Shoto suffered more than him, and that's why Natsuo feels bad that he can't forgive Endeavor if Shoto is taking these steps.
Yeah, and that was really good. That was really, really good when they did that. I think that was the decision when Endeavor said he would buy a family for them to live in, and he wouldn't live there.
Because and like that's the thing that I kind of like about Horikoshi in this regard too, though, is that he does have it like fully acknowledge that Natsuo is kind of like, all right, maybe I am being kind of a dick here.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's not a suffering contest.
It's not.
You still do have to like keep perspective on like what's happened to the people around you.
Yep.
And you have to like sit there and like you should consider like, okay, if these are my siblings and my little brother who was more abused than me, and again, is my little brother is making this progress, and my sister who has better memories of everything that happened when we're growing up has made more progress, then I can't be stuck here. I think there's also just like a bit of like you kind of have to be ashamed, and I think it's right to be a little frustrated that like you can't make those steps that people around you are making, especially when you compare, like if you are honest with yourself and you're like,
I also did scrub.
You're like, oh man, I'm so angry because I heard about getting beaten.
Yeah.
But like you were actually getting beaten.
Did Endeavor ever put his hands on Ray, by the way? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I think it's heavily implied. You don't see it specifically, but
because it was definitely implied. I was wondering if like we saw it in that chapter, or was it mentioned that he did?
Yeah, because Shoto was like, "Don't bully mommy," and then
she not on the grind.
Same words for the same situation.
And by the way, in the first panel, I don't know how Endeavor. If he beat Toya, he just took his hand and yoked him up, but you can see the burns. That's the same night. You can see the burns on his sleeve. But people are asking about the burns.
Yeah, but we can't really say what anything happens there.
Yeah, I can't say.
Like I said, Toya, that he
I can't say he knocked him out or if he yoked him up and back or what have you. But that's the same night that there's something occurred
Yeah.
with those two that night. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to, you know, and when your child is fucking carrying fire at another one of your fucking children, at a baby at that,
he put his
it would be
arm
just,
out
I wouldn't, you know, I
and,
wouldn't be surprised if
took
he
the hits, I think.
slapped them or some shit. But you know, that's like a quick reaction. But what
I guess
happened?
I'm
But
gonna
yeah.
head out.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All
All right, see you,
What's
Shiro.
happening?
Being
See you
here.
next week.
Yeah.
Nice talk to you.
Natsuo
Hey,
doesn't have to forgive Endeavor. He doesn't have to.
No,
But
he
at the same
doesn't.
time,
No.
it doesn't help him at all. And that's what I try to help people. This is what I want people to really understand about these situations is you can choose not to forgive somebody, but at what cost? Because then you're alienating yourself. If the family's trying to get together and you're the only one now that refuses, you're just being stubborn and you're not benefiting yourself. You're not benefiting your family. You're just being stubborn.
Yeah,
And-
I think that. Sorry, I thought you.
No, I mean, you guys can definitely interrupt here because it's more of a discussion. Like, why?
Yeah, I
What is it-
definitely agree because I think one thing that is specifically striking with Natsuo is that he didn't just feel bad because he felt that he suffered less than Shoto and Shoto is willing to forgive him or is willing to take these steps and he isn't. But it's also, I think there's part of him that felt like he himself being still angry and making a scene at every single of these dinners that Fuyumi is trying to organize is somehow sabotaging Fuyumi's attempts at getting a family back.
Right. Yeah.
So for me, it's like this. It's like, all right, nobody's saying, all right, now so suck it up. Everybody sing Kumbaya. We get back together, happy family. No, but it's just like to the point where this nigga always being the extra most dramatic one out of everybody during the scenes. It's like, okay, bro, I get it, I understand, but like now I'm seeing you wasn't doing that much to actually acknowledge your brother's existence either. I understand he's rambling, but maybe if you kind of heard him out, because I could tell at that age you kind of brushed that nigga off. Because Dabi's actually always been smart, but people don't actually give him that credit. But Toya, he's actually been kind of intelligent. He figured all this shit out on his own, even with the race stuff too. So it's like, I understand you're not, in depth, and he's talking about like society, things like that, but you just kind of brushed him off when I felt like you were there in his arms, like, yo, it's okay, bro. That's what I felt like. But I was like, all right, I mean, all right, bro. It's like you always making it more dramatic than like the actual situation. Like everybody's like, okay, I'm taking accountability for this. I was just being the media for Yumi. They saying this, that, and that. Not so we know Endeavor's the root. You didn't have to go through like you the read all this shit is your fault. But if I had just if I had just did this, we know he's the root. You don't gotta keep saying it. We all know it. Everybody in this room experienced the same shit. Like we know the story. Like, come on, bro.
Oh damn! I just Audrey pointed something out I didn't realize.
What's up?
No, the anime did indeed fuck up.
Oh, you talking about the hair thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't realize this, but yeah, that's the exact same scene. So at least because we all thought, so Hori's just covering for the anime's fuck up. No, he wasn't. He was doing his own thing.
So like he specifically redrew that panel.
Because the panel's the same, because he drew the exact same panel and his hair is white.
Yeah, the panel was always white hair.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but it's like the way we initially, like the way it was actually shown in the more recent chapters, you would think that meant that this just happened before, but before all the bad stuff happened before that time. But now it's like, no, never mind, no, it wasn't.
It's funny because
I'd also like to say that when it comes to like the revised chapter that'll be coming out with the edited dialogue, it's going to coincide with the timeline we got in chapter 250, where it was after she was hospitalized.
Yeah, we know it. Thank you, Squid. Thank you, Squid.
And I'm just trying to
like the stream, guys. Like the stream.
Like the stream.
Yeah, don't get Ponzo on y'all necks again because y'all know I don't want that.
Y'all gonna make that boy act
Ray's situation is kind of sad. She's kind of just a victim of her own situation.
Yeah.
Ray,
she was just not ready for it. She just wasn't ready for any of this.
Okay. She just let it all happen.
Yeah, it's like she does. It's so tragic. Endeavor is basically destroying his family in a desperate attempt to save his son, which is like, I really believe like his attempt to save Toya is more destructive ultimately than his attempt to surpass All Might in this whole story, which is just tragic. And Ray just lets it happen, and she's so apathetic that by the time she tries to do something, it's already too late.
Yeah.
And it's a bad situation overall. It's just like, it's just one of those shit sticks that life hands you, where it's just like, all right, well, you were made for this purpose, and the irony is that you actually can't fulfill this purpose. It's kind of just like God saying, listen, you can't control life. I control it. So it's just like, it's like punishment for marrying for only the benefits of your own ambition. And it's just like, I mean, it's I don't know if Horikoshi is trying to say that, you know, he's trying to use that marriage shouldn't be used just for the sake of status and ambition, but for like love. I don't know if that's a message he's trying to put out here, but he's definitely shown the consequences of a Quirk marriage and what it can do to annihilate a family if it doesn't.
Well, it's also that you also have to factor in the cultural expectations around.
Hold on, that's what I was about to get into, actually.
Oh man, all right.
The fact is that a lot of Ray's behavior is the cultural expectation. Like, I know a lot of us also JJK in here, and think back to last chapter what Nalia said. She can't walk.
I'll mute.
There's just a phrase. It's just a one. Like he says, she can't walk 3 steps behind a man properly. She's not a real woman.
Yep.
He said that they need to die.
Very aggressive.
So yeah. So we got levels like that level of culture. Like, and we were talking about that culture. So like that's kind of like the kind of woman Ray acts as. Like when you see the meeting, she's quiet. When he's like, "Hey, you like flowers?" She's just kind of like, "Yeah." Like even throughout, like when she's like, "I don't know if this is the best idea," and then she still kind of just like rolls with it. There's a lot of she just kind of acquiesces and allows like Endeavor to take the charge. And I think that's part of where she like feels she's like on the hook, because she's like, at the end of the day, I am still a parent. I am still a part of the responsibility, and me just letting him make all the decisions and how we were going to execute all this stuff was wrong, regardless of whatever the cultural expectations are. And I think that's kind of something that the whole Todoroki family kind of highlights, is that this is how dangerous the cultural expectations can be if just 1 or 2 things go wrong. Like if one thing, because like if you just switch it being a hero out for just trying to get that next promotion at work, and then just take any eldest son responsibility and then just have them not be able to fulfill it, and you still have like a similar cultural resentment where the son is like mad because, you know, the younger one is more talented, whatever. So it still like works to just kind of criticize this entire old school mentality of like trying and like relying on this old school structuralism and obsession with passing things down traditionally and all these other things.
Once again, old heads ruin everything.
You said that because earlier in the chat, me, Micro, I think Giorno, and some other people, Shushi Sir, we were having a conversation about this, right? But we also brought up how Shigaraki's mom isn't actually like the bad mother. Like you could say, because she actually put her foot down and protested. Like, yes, she didn't go physically stop him. Like when we seen him getting beaten that one time. But she actually did make a protest, unlike Ray, who was just sitting on the side half the time. Like I don't expect Tenko mom to run up and just start boxing Kotaro like, "Hey nigga, keep your hands off my baby," you know, the stuff like that. But if you break a rule in the house and they set it up and you break it, yes, the discipline was too extreme and it was a stupid ass rule, but you still broke it and you respect that, but you like kind of iffy, but you still supporting the child. But as time went on, she wasn't just sitting there idly by like sipping on some tea letting it happen. She told him stop repeated times. Don't do this. And then she came in and she's put her foot down like, listen, we're not going to keep taking this shit. You promised me all this stuff, it's that and other, but it's not like that. So we finna bounce. He was like, nah, I'm sorry. I was wrong, this, that, and the other. So in that regard, I can see like, yeah, she should have, maybe she could have did more, but she at least did something. She didn't just sit there and let this shit just ride out.
When Ray was responding to her favorite flower, it kind of reminds me of that idea that you have to speak when spoken to. Anyone get that feeling?
Yep.
That's the thing about it. That literally, when you see she comes from a field big house, like to call it, the field big house. So they were a name before as a clan, stuff like this, and they didn't have the money. So when the guy came over and say, "Guys, I got the money. I want your girl." They look at the girl and say, "Yo, we are a clan. We give the education for this girl. She studies. She is meant to be the right woman. Take her." In the Japanese way to see how women should act about how She must say yes. She must be. Allez, when the man talks, she don't talk. She doesn't talk. Stuff like this. It is something that if just watch samurai movies, but good ones. You will see how women are seen. Of them, even in the last samurai. I don't know with Tom Cruise, we see that also the way how Japanese people in back then, allez, still like things like this still exist. You know, in some culture they share the same stuff about how they see women, how to see women, and how the women are seen. The fact that when the men talk, you don't talk women, but stuff that happened till today, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you saw with her, and how, and like you said, the difference with that with Tenko's mother. Dinkelman was literally somebody who had a good life, so she didn't have that same education, and you see that society right now in My Hero Academia still has the interest from the past before the quirks, but also before our time even, and it is beautiful to see that how people uh, even if the world if the world still moves to try to keep that culture, their stuff, their own stand. Yeah, some stuff don't die easily. You know what I mean? You just have to have one family to take it, practice some stuff, and it goes forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is really beautiful to see that in My Hero Academia, the way that the attention of detail of Horikoshi, the way that he's reading it, because every family that we saw are some kind of situation that we saw in different mangas and anime. I'm telling you, the stuff that we saw with Dabi, different, even seinen. The most seinen character comes from family like Dabi's, or even Hawks in like Hawk's family. You know what I mean? Stuff like this, like the way that he was treated at home. Also, if you read Rikudo, stuff like this, most of the time these families, this main character comes from like dark, complicated families, and I really like that. Really, that Horikoshi gave that to his side characters, and make it. He didn't take the easy way, but he really worked it out with details, and you understand the characters better too. You really see that when he makes a character, that's my impression, huh? That he makes his character, and from the design, or he make like a story with this character. His story is engraved in his design. Even Dabi, because Dabi is a good example. All his scars, stuff like this, his story was already written before that he could give us all this stuff, and that is powerful to do that. To withhold yourself to tell that to your audience, all the things that you have. That's the secret of some other will say the secret of a good storytelling is the thing that you don't tell. This is the stuff that you don't tell, that people will see that how deep it is. And it is facts. That's what we saw. For the most of the time, we had theories about Dabi and stuff like that. We had our head canon, and Horikoshi just showed us, yeah, it is you're on the maybe on the right path, but not really. And he just saw his vision about stuff, or how how that happens. And you're the one to accept the reality, because he's a writer. If you don't accept it because your headcanon is you think that your headcanon is better, yeah, man, you're just living in a dream.
Oh, actually, Fonzu.
My headcanon is canon. I'm sorry.
Fonzu. So yesterday as well, you may be able to write headcanon that's far more in line with what's actually decent and makes sense with the story. You have to accept the fact that a lot of fanfics died these days.
I feel really bad, to be honest, especially like even this last panel when Shoto was like, once you stop grieving, stand back up. It's like a hit in the face to all the fans who were like, now they come in and they tell him to shut up, to stop crying because he doesn't suffer most. No, they say grieve and then stand back up, and I love it.
Right, like there's this whole, because as we talked about, Fuyumi's reactions make far more sense now that we see most of the time, most of the time it's been good for her. And she's not going to see Toya as neglected when Toya was literally burning himself. She's going to see it as Endeavor trying to not influence Toya, like he directly states multiple times. And in the same way, like, but to that degree, Toya's going to like say whatever. He's got his own agenda. And like, it's not like he's going to Natsuo. Like, it's not like he was like, yeah, like, you know, my flames hurt me, and thus every time I try to use super moves, it causes me massive damage, and if it keeps getting worse, it'll probably cause me even more damage, and I could end up sick, hurt, or whatever. Like, my hair used to be red. Like, he didn't mention any of that. Like, he didn't go, hey, this quirk literally stressed me out so bad, my hair turned white. Like,
I mean, that could have just been his ice genes just dominating, like activating. That could have just been his ice genes. I don't think it's necessarily stress.
We don't know which one it is, though. And for him to not factor in that his body is like going through such harsh changes, it's kind of like...
Yeah. I say it's both. I say it's both because you got like Natsuo and Fuyumi who have the red-ish in there too. And Natsuo is sensitive to heat, which would, you know, make up the fact that he's most likely got white hair and he has little red streaks, but he's sensitive to heat, which would mean most likely that he has he has like raised quirky body too. So I'm pretty sure it's a mixture of both. But
what if Natsuo has no?
He's fucking burning himself every fucking day, bro. Like that shit is truly tragic.
You know what would kind of be funny though? What if Natsuo just doesn't have a quirk? He just has a weakness to heat.
All his pettiness and anger is justified enough.
That's like the thing is Quirk. He didn't get any emitter Quirk. He just has the ice body resistance. That's it.
Yeah, you know how?
No, he just straight up has like weakness to heat. That's it. Oh, even ice resistance.
If y'all ever watched Rush Hour 2, Chris Tucker took off that towel off that thing. He's like, damn, what are you back?
I'm screaming.
He's like one of these people who dies at 36 degrees Celsius outside.
Since we talk about the excellency of this chapter and things coming together, I just want to talk about this though. And since we were on the topic of headcanons and how series should go, and y'all pretty sure know I'm referring to how niggas thought this arc should have went, but Horikoshi had different plans. And I was talking about is it bad if it doesn't happen, or does it happen later than you expect because the author had different intentions than you believe it to be? So at this point, I'm trying to really wrap my head around. Y'all need to understand. I think you're too fixated on this academia part of the series. Like, I need you to understand the story have shifted. If you think they're just going to sweep what just happened
under the
rug, and UA just want to be peachy key, I really need you to like get a mental check because I don't see how you could possibly fathom nothing comes to like, bro. It's like, bro, some of the teachers are out. Some of the teachers are out. They don't even support the teachers. The commission is down. The government got other things to do. Like, you think they're like, all right, listen, I know you UA, y'all didn't tell nobody parents y'all was gonna put them in the raid that turned to all that brawl and casualties, that, and the other. I know y'all didn't tell nobody, but it's cool, okay? You know what I'm saying? We still need people out there in the street, like, what the?
And Stain in the streets now too. Don't forget Stain. He in the streets now.
I think it all comes from the fact that for some fucking reason, even people who are either aren't invested in the series or they don't really have much faith in the writer, believe that this show has no consequences. Because I've had conversations with motherfuckers in like other chats who like, even when this shit first started, we're over here like, I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna go back to school. Based on what exactly?
No.
They're not going back to school.
No.
I mean,
they had the weakest excuses I've ever heard. Somebody really told me it's because Shinso's second year. You think Shinso's second year is greater than Shigaraki's takeover?
Actually, wasn't that Avenger? Wasn't that Avenger who said that?
Yeah, he was literally Avenger who was like,
because he's like, oh, we're not going back to school. He listed a whole bunch of like statements from characters, like Aiza was saying, oh yeah, I have to watch them graduate. So because this nigga wants to see his kids graduate, we're gonna go back to school because he said he wants to see them graduate.
And I got the biggest comeback for that. So didn't Hawk say by the time the cherry blossom fall again, everybody be smiling? Didn't Shigaraki don't say at this point we take over everything? So you kind of see how just because a nigga say something in the series doesn't mean it's gonna go the way they want.
Exactly. Exactly.
It often goes the complete opposite, or just has a double meaning to it.
Exactly.
Well, it's not even just about double meanings. It's just about the fact that they're characters. That even though they're just fictional characters, they're still people. People have desires. Desires don't always come true. Like the fact is, if desires and plans where what indicates what's going to happen in the story, then that means the heroes would have got stalked out and the villains would have taken over, and then they would have been fake taken out by Reed Destro, and he would have been the leader of society.
See, the author's word is when I tell you it's the author's word, not when I actually have evidence.
This is one of those things that we've had conversations, and like even some of the arguments we've had on stream directly stem from people being like, well, a character said this, and it's like, since when does that matter? Since when does what you want matter? Like you know how many villains have been like, this is my goal, and then gotten folded? Like what?
Yeah, no, statements matter when you're talking about like power and something like that, or like facts in the world itself. But statements don't matter when talking about what characters want. Desires don't mean shit.
Like bro, yeah, Avengers tried to use the Shinso pound, the Aizawa thing, like the media being like, don't worry, Midnight has a bunch of stuff to still teach us back at school. She's dead. Are y'all bringing her? Y'all bringing my girl back to life? No. So what you just said don't matter.
Just want them both to be back.
I mean, they could be referring to Midnight as in the nighttime.
Yeah, shit, me boy. Shout out to Cody Gasman. Took her out.
And this is one of those things that I think that part of it is that people are kind of ignoring some of the little story crumbs that Horikoshi sprinkled throughout anyway that highlight this. Like, ask yourself this. They did like the internships, the work studies, whatever for Hosu City Arc. And they specifically made it a point to emphasize, oh, this is something that people don't even do to the like second or third year, blah, blah, blah. Like they constantly talked about these things like for the first years, like all this stuff you're going to be doing is stuff that they don't normally do. And like the whole point of that is that we don't have to do year 2 or 3 if we don't want to.
Thank you, Aniki.
And like, and the reality is that with the Hero Safety Commission down, we got to restructure how like heroes are going to function anyway. Because bureaucracy has always been a thing in My Hero Academia, whether you love or hate that concept. Like, especially for us older folks, I know we all can look, like, gotta wait like 6 weeks. Oh, or you need a replacement ID? Bet that's gonna take like a month.
Yep.
Go do that work online. So, and you want to tell me that after a million casualties that they just casually like, even like you could tell me even if you told me UA was open, I would be like, the hero course ain't like there's no way that like
there's no way heroes are going back to normal.
Like there's no way there's any hero course open right now. Like, bro, there's just too much.
When you one idea I heard is that there's gonna be like a sports festival.
Hey, I mean, if real life didn't teach us anything, they could have just do remote learning like us and COVID. I'm just saying.
Oh, you know what? Have you seen me tweet about what I call the Karen arc?
The Karen arc. I feel like I have. Is just as we're talking about family stuff. How do you feel about some of the parents taking more of a center stage of the plot going forward? It's interesting, right? And I see what you're saying because this kind of goes hand in hand with why Stain is so dissatisfied with the Hero Society. The Hero Society used to be something where someone who's brave and courageous is putting themselves out there to fight the battle of justice alone without any regard for themselves. Now, what we're seeing is that world that Hero Society had where it's a profession, you get paid for it, there's benefits to it. I don't have to fight the baddest villains, but, I'll be on TV and everyone sees me as a hero. Disgusting, right? And the parents, they're the ones who are realizing that I'm throwing my child's life in danger for fame that may last like a year and then my child is dead. Like, I don't see the benefit. And that's why Deku's mom was so against Deku going into the dorm after that danger happened in UA, because it's one thing to be a hero and then there's a realistic chance that you will die. Very realistic. So now that we have the Hero Society is torn up, it's completely gone. Now to be a hero in this society, you have to have balls. And everyone who don't have balls, they're quitting, they're leaving, they're not on time, and you're realizing who are the real heroes and who aren't the real heroes. So I actually think what Horikoshi did is perfect.
I think JD like
you know who has balls?
Yep.
You know who has balls?
Who?
Wash.
Minerva.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway.
Hey, I hear no lies. I hear no lies.
Anyway.
No lies.
I mean, it's crazy. Hold on.
I mean, he has him on his head. Which I guess is the right height anyway.
Anyway, I was gonna say it's crazy to me though that JD is of all people who's not even really like the biggest fan of this series can understand this shit better than motherfuckers who claim to actually be fans of this shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, speaking of which, my homie literally
predicted
just
this in like the mid 30s in terms of chapters.
Yeah, we do got to give JD his flowers for this because there's people who will be talking to them about the series and they're like, nah.
It's funny. When
that, like when Dabi was live streaming, first off, I know you was like, damn, Dabi really doing this. But like we were like, bro, that's gonna have impact. We had somebody come on and be like, nah, nobody's gonna care about Dabi's story. They're just gonna be like, whatever, he killed people, he's a bum. And I'm like, nah, that's not what's gonna happen. The way people love drama,
man.
Dabi's backstory is arguably the best in the show right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, no, the craziest part is we still don't know about the 11 years. We still don't know about the 11 years, what happened right after that moment until the entire till he met Shigaraki. What happened between that point? That is some crazy shit that I cannot wait to figure out.
Well, we knew that's actually something that's missing became the dude in chapter 39, where he's just like, what are you doing?
Because they didn't know.
Great villain. Bop.
I mean, I feel like I can't really say it's missing because I also said this when we wrote the original backstory. I was like, okay, there's a lot of shit not being told here, so I'm guessing they're gonna holding off on that. Then I wasn't sure, and now they're giving me almost everything I needed to know. Now all that's left is the aftermath of all the Todoroki household shit. Now it's the Dabi shit that we don't know about.
Yeah, I guess it's missing in a sense that we're probably going to find out about it. But it's quite clear that where we are now with Toya, it doesn't quite explain how he ended up where he is. Because at this point, I don't see how he came out of this alive, who saved him, who healed him, and why he wouldn't go back home after this.
I mean, the only person who can tell that story, the only person who can tell that story is Dabi himself. So I'm pretty sure,
or whoever saved him if he was saved.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I can get this story until they they go and confront him again.
Or he could just be thinking about it himself when we see him next. Like you saw how he's like laying down, just
reminiscing. I mean, he could. I just don't. I just feel like it'll be more impactful for the story itself for him to tell the story to them himself. But,
see,
they should also know how he ended up this way.
I do and don't agree with that. Because
I think he should only tell like maybe Shoto because that's not true. All right,
because my stance on this is that I am always a big fan of information being withheld from other people. So us getting the story before the Todoroki family would kind of play into the way that like we've always had more suspicions and information about Dabi than the Todoroki family has had about Dabi. So right now, like we're kind of equal with the Todoroki family on information about Dabi. Yeah. And that's not normally how Dabi's written. So we could easily get like a cutaway to like next chapter where Dabi is talking to like the doctor or Spinner or like Vestige for one, and we finally get some information.
I don't mind the idea of us of him leaving crumbs that we kind of like put the pieces together and figure it all out, and then they just give us the full thing later, like we did with him being Toya in the first place. I just would rather us not know the entire fucking story before they do, because like the way that what kind of made that I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. What kind of made that enjoyable to me was the fact that you did have to put it together yourself, because you kind of had to start looking at shit. I was like, okay, wait, this is kind of interesting, and this dialogue here, okay, yeah, I think I know what this is.
I agree, but it's like this is a little bit different because this was a piece that like after this is all Dabi's solo story. The way the other thing worked with that, because the Todorokis were all part of the same family, so you had bits and pieces from here to connect to here because there were so many people in that web. When it comes to the Dabi being born outside after the incident with Toya, that's completely strictly all Dabi season. Like you can run through that in the chapter, just like how Shigaraki had his complete origin thing. But with the Dabi reveal happening before, it was like the pieces are here because all the people are intertangled into the story and leading up to what happened. After he left that and burned and died, air quote, it's all solo Dabi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Even his jaw and shit like that.
Yeah, because it's just all straight up him. They have no context. Like, before they could fill in the pieces because they know what was going on with Toya. and et cetera, et cetera. And then you piece it from what Dabi says, but it's mainly coming from the Todorokis. But here, nobody but Dabi knows what the fuck happened.
Which also, does that mean that he went back and got his draw?
I'm not sure. And honestly, because people were talking about the Ujiko thing, and I do see how that could have worked because they really wouldn't have used his quirk or anything like that. They could have just like, Ujiko is whimsical. Like, if somebody did save the body and he was like scorched and he's like barely breathing, like, you know, it happens in movies all the time. They see a body or somebody and they like take like, he's still alive, you know, you just take him here. You know, Ujiko performs like, this body roasted. They would have had no purpose for him. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably wouldn't have been knowing he was capable of. So I don't really can't give you nothing on that one. I'm not Horikoshi do what he do as always, but it's like it's just that big mystery is still there to me. Like, honestly,
I mean, you also have to keep in mind timeline wise, this would have been 11 years before the present.
Yeah, before he pulled up on Shigaraki.
So we're still in so All For One would still logically be in his prime because the big fight happened 6 years before the start. So he still has those connections. He still has those plugs to get stuff like that, especially Ujiko. So
I've looked at Ujiko as being set up as being the person who saved him since MVA.
Yeah, since he said that line, I might have met some of you once or twice, and then you wouldn't really recognize Dabi because you probably don't know what quirk he had, and then he mummified, yeah, but he don't have the same hair, and Ujiko probably doesn't fucking operations experience, so he just probably fixes nigga up like, all right, put this nigga back on the wagon, or what have you.
In any case, what is it? I gotta get out of here, so I'll see y'all.
All right,
Damn, I gotta go. I got some videos.
Do you think there's someone that further cultivates?
You gotta disprove people posting fan art. I see.
Yep. Hey, listen, bro. Listen, honestly, man, it's just like you shouldn't be surprised by this. You guys know the One Piece fandom, man. Any sort of criticism whatsoever is an attack on the entire series itself.
I hate that.
Wait,
you're criticizing One Piece? How dare you?
You can't dislike a certain character or a certain scene or an arc without hating the entire show.
Are you talking about that art that when you said that, like, that dude said the character designs for the women are all the same?
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Which is a reasonable argument, to be honest.
I said my assertion was that the main young attractive women in One Piece, at the forefront, they all have the same body type and the same facial structure.
You specifically said relevant.
And then all they're doing is posting irrelevant background characters that you're only going to see rarely ever in the story.
Yeah,
and Big Mom, because she's one of the main attractive characters.
But that's the thing. If you're older,
Big Mom's attractive.
If you're older, you're completely shrivel and you just turn into a completely different beast.
Can you say that again?
It's even funnier when they posted Viola in the anime, which who has a different design than Viola in the manga.
Really?
Viola, who looks like second Robin, like in the anime.
He looks like. When I was reading, I thought that was Robin.
Yeah, there were legit scenes where I wasn't quite sure who was who.
I remember when we first got introduced to Momo's sister, and we didn't know if it was Robin or not. That was funny.
Oh
God!
Or that Reverie panel where what was it? Was it Rebecca and Vivi right next to each other?
Oh yeah, they're doing like the thumbs up. It's like
it just looks like two bodies.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Sure, she's just Nami with fins.
Damn.
I mean, I heard like Oda based Nami off his wife.
And every other female character, apparently too.
Like I said, man.
I mean, hey, it's good to see that he's committed. No,
he is. I mean, it's not even a big deal. Like to me, it's not a major criticism at all. But like I said, any small criticism is a major deal.
You know what's a big deal? My man's JD coming over to the light side, joining the Zoro stand-up ship. We should give him round of applause for that.
Anyway,
get your final thoughts on the chapter.
Thanks, man.
I'm getting my
chapter 10 out of 10. Toya's backstory was perfection. The facial expressions were just incredible. My favorite panel is when he looked at Ray and said, "You have a part in this as well." I'm like, oh, I'm feeling it. I was on my feet. Like, it's been a while. I don't think I've ever had a My Hero chapter that had me on my feet. I was clapping through this chapter, hollering like, yo, this is writing. This is writing, my nigga. I said, yo, Horikoshi, when the Todoroki family is on the screen, Horikoshi morphs into Michael Jordan every time he does it.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss a basket. He doesn't miss with these niggas, and I love it. So,
I mean, I hope we get the Dabi origin just so I can have JD back next week. I pray. I'm about to text Toya right now, but hey, dog, listen, I know you had a plan for later, but listen, just do me a favor real quick. Just shift it around a little bit. I'm trying to have JD on here.
Thanks for having me, Aniki. Thanks for
we love having you around, JD.
Yeah. The chat loves you, JD. Just know that the chat do love you. You may not be watching them. They be like, yo, JD.
I'll be reading the chat. I appreciate you guys in the chat as well. Thank you. All
right, man. You be safe.
All right, everybody. Take care.
You too. Take care. So,
JD, always bringing good quality.
Yeah. Flo didn't speak much before. He was just trolling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, half the reason Flo come to these streams is to troll.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
Yo.
So it's specifically about Toya. So we know that quirks do in fact in various degrees of severity influence your psychology. Do you think perhaps there is a trend among fire users to consecutively get more passionate?
Yes, that's what I've been saying since this flashback. It's quite clear that if we compare not just when Inasa compared Shoto to Endeavor, back then I thought it's just like familial father-son thing, but now Toya has similar ways of being super passionate and super like unhealthy amounts of anger, and this has to be with fire quirk. This can't be a coincidence because Natsuo is angry too and petty, but it's more like childish petty and normal anger and not this burning passionate hatred, right?
And like it's kind of like if you have a fire type quirk, we see you being heated. Explosion to a certain degree is a fire type quirk. Bakugo is explosive. Endeavor, extremely hot-headed. Like we consistently see if you're angry, like if you have like fire involved with your quirk, the fire quirk, you get the curse of the Uchiha. Like it is what it is.
Passion.
We kind of see it the same. We kind of see it the same with Shoto too, because like he has a very kind of cold personality most of the time. But once you get him revved up, that fire side comes out.
Well,
I wonder if it's not just the fire side being very, very passionate, but also if on the other side the ice quirk is very apathetic, and if that in addition to the social background explain Ray's apathy.
Well, it can also explain why her family was like also why she was also even more apathetic on top of her cultural upbringing.
Right.
Because if you're in an ice family, like you're naturally kind of apathetic, and part of the things about apathy is resistance to change. So as society's evolving and things become more unethical, or customs begin to change, and how expectations for example, women, etc., are changing, they're not really getting with the program, which is why they end up agreeing to something like this.
And when we talk about like quirks, hold on, let me close my damn mic. When we talk about like quirks affecting us and like people, like I was telling somebody, like as Shoto further develops the balance between his fire and eyesight, the more you see his personality come out as we progress. Like especially like there's sometimes there's these, like I said, I always say like any character, like for an MC, is more important for me for an MC to do this than it is a side characters. But I like the moments outside the fights. Anybody can draw a cool fight. That's no big deal. You can draw a hype fight, what have you. But you can also have the character develop in a fight, and then you get back to the regular daily life stuff, and they're just exactly the same as they were before. Like the fight didn't happen, some shit. But in my hero, I can always see the growth in everybody's character. So like I can really see in Deku. But there's a lot I can see in Shoto, because especially like the EA, there's just little moments like, hey, did you notice what he does when he does? He's like, yeah, I fucking noticed. If I go, yeah, I fucking noticed. He's like, yeah. He's like, and he like wipes his mouth like smirking, like, yeah, I caught a little. Like I was like, you see, I can see the flair and the personality really coming out this kid as they further go along, and I truly appreciate like how more balance he gets. He's not more balance he gets with his powers, and not just he's super cold or he's super energetic or he's super hot. It's just like balance as a
I found it ironic with Shoto that when we actually think about it, the time when he refused to use his fire quirk
is backwards, right?
when his fire quirk affected his personality the most.
So the thing that that's
Yeah.
actually what I was going to point out, though. Hold on.
Me too.
Because I was going to point out in Hosu City that like you get the perfect example of like that dichotomy where when he yells at the police, he's like, "You mutt," and he's just like, "Oh, well, fine, like whatever. Like I guess you could have just told us that." Like it immediately drops like this really cold, like I don't even want to say facade. It's like either you got him riled up and angry back then, or he was just cold and like indifferent towards you for the most part. And like even when he was like talking to them, he was just like, "Oh, I'm the hand crusher."
That shit's so funny, bro. That's just so funny.
He's like either like completely just not dealing with it. He's just ready to punch the air, man. He's just.
This shit's so funny.
No, it's just the thing about just the way that he was introduced. You know, how cool that he was when he talked, when he was talking back then in the beginning of the series. Even when he was, you know, if he didn't have changed, he would have killed villains literally, because the way that the first time that we saw, not the first time, the second time that we saw him in the USJ, when he was alone facing all the villains, he just froze everything and he said to some of them, "Guys, if you don't tell me, I don't care about you guys. I can kill you here right now." You know, there's a thing about him, because he was so apathetic, so he couldn't have be like Sub-Zero, bro. That was the thing about it. He could have become Sub-Zero.
He specifically said that the ice, if it wasn't melted quickly, was going to induce frostbite to where their bodies would rotted.
Now this nigga was shit talking because I'm rereading right now, right? And I just got the USJ. So this nigga shit talk. This nigga pull up. And he. Oh. This nigga pull up, he's shit talking to Ojiro after he like froze the entire building from the outside. He's like, all right, I mean, you can fight if you want to, but it'd be kind of hard without the soles of your feet. I'm like, nigga, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, you nigga froze everybody. Like, yeah, you can do that, but you don't have no soles on your feet if you rip out that ice. I suggest you just sit down. I'm like, yo, this nigga used to be an asshole, boy. Like, you might have hated Endeavor, but you damn sure was no different than that nigga, boy. Fucking jackass.
I mean, did we see what he was gonna do in Vigilantes to a teenage to a possessed teenager?
Y'all want to argue about that, you can. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to go read those jumps.
Like at least Shoto like threatened attempted murder, and he tried it.
He was an angry man.
I probably went back home just.
I respect Endeavor, the hero, the most as a hero. Him and Miracle. You know why?
Why?
None of that whole is killing right? Is killing wrong? No, they pulled up on that fucking monster and said, "Yo, this nigga gotta die. He gotta go. Don't let him out the tank. He gotta take it." Endeavor's like, "Yo, flash fire, hell curtain. You ain't getting up from that. I'm pulling. I'm gonna kill this nigga. He gotta go." No. That nigga said that nigga did not question. He's like, "Yo, this nigga gotta be neutralized. He was the hottest fire ever." It was like, "Yo, you ain't getting up from this." What the fuck? He's still moving. Yo, this nigga gotta go. He's like, he is not playing. They're trying.
And then he did Prominence Bird, and he was like, "Hey, how's this man not dead?"
Yeah,
like, I'm trying to like run. I'm trying to run this dude's fade, and it's like he's not even going out like this. It's crazy.
As I would too. Everybody that was in that bitch. That's what I'm talking about. Ain't no arresting Shigaraki. That is a demon that need to be put the fuck down. I thought he killed all for one, bro. Like he thought that panel had his head bashed and blood on the floor. They thought that nigga was gone. They didn't say, I thought he was in jail. No, they thought that nigga was dead. Yeah, you damn right. Solo me, I ain't doing
dead if you have like half your head cut off.
Solo me,
yeah, for sure. Even Mirko was killed. Was go for the kill. You know, even when you see from Vigilantes when she appeared and how she was portrayed, you see the curve, the way that she started to be more and more fighting in these dark places of the society, or more that she became like, I'm a hero. I can die at any moment. So if I die trying, nigga. Literally.
That's the bad bitch energy I'm here for. She like, listen. She like, y'all talking about the women in MHA? Say less. I just want no screen, bitch. Let me fuck out. Listen, Miracle Rapper is the greatest team up. Miracle Rapper is the greatest meathead team up I never knew I needed.
It's like, yo, punch power, kick power, let's go.
It's not funny as fuck. Off-world portal like he was John Kreese. Oh God, son! Nigga said, "I'll show you what true cold means."
Something I wanted to say about this chapter, which at the end of the chapter, before we now talk about all the other stuff, because we're now going a bit off track.
Toya would be great friends with Naoya Zenin.
Yo, right? Chill out. Ignore him. He talk about another series.
All right.
Don't say yes.
Is the last panel, because when this whole Todoroki family stuff happened around 300, everybody was like, Ray, come in and tell him to stop, tell him that they have to stop crying because he didn't suffer the most. And here Shoto is, and it's like, once you've stopped grieving, stand back up. It's so cool because he's saying you have to. It basically says grieve, go and grieve, but once you're done grieving, stand back up. And it's so much better than everything which all kinds of fans said, which is stop grieving, stop crying, you didn't suffer the most, go out and do shit. No, grieve, and once you're done grieving, stand back up. It's so cool. I love Shoto for this. It's just...
They'll say is, look, talk your shit. I know this is your moment. Your fanfic can't lie. You see what I'm saying? Talk your shit. This is your moment.
Hold on. I want to back up Sayers real quick. And say that this level of emotional intelligence and nuance is something that we've already seen out of Shoto, like harkening back to the overhaul arc, where he tells Deku, like, nah, like, I think it's okay for heroes to cry too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we get to see him not only see, and the thing is that he's always talked about Endeavor, but the thing that I love about this is that he's been calling him dad. And so like we see him not only acknowledging that heroes can cry, but also his father's allowed to cry.
Yeah, and it's even like a development in this 3-chapter frame, because he comes into the scene and he's like, Dad, he's crying, and he can't deal with it, and he leaves immediately, and he's telling his sibling he's crying. And even when he comes back in, he doesn't look at his dad. He clearly can't deal with the fact that his dad is crying here. And then, in the span of these 3 chapters, he goes, yeah, okay, I know you grieve, you have to grieve, so do it, and then stand back up. And it's so nice. And you can immediately see the reaction from Enji, which is essentially from this desperate, silent crying, where you just have his tears trickling down into the pillow, to this very ugly bawling, which is a very different crying from the first one. And this is such a great development in just 3 chapters. And even though Shoto didn't do anything in these chapters.
That shit is so funny. That shit is amazing.
Well, because there's a certain level of when you spent your entire life training to be a hero, training to be strong, training to be like trying to be the #1 hero, competing with an unshakable rock of a person that is All Might, the symbol of peace. Yeah. Plus, you spent all this time trying to save your son, and it backfired on this level. And you know, the crowds have never left. There's been like protesters and reporters waiting for you to do something, to move, to take that step. And you're in Endeavor. You're literally like, you have like the weight of the entire country on you now. And like, shit, can a nigga get 5 minutes for himself?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that in the beginning, in 300, when he was silent crying, he was ready to give up. He was ready to. He knows, of course, that he has to go out there and make a statement, and he knows that when he retires, there's nobody that can fight Shigaraki. Even he can barely fight Shigaraki, and only with a lot of help. But without him, there is no chance to deal with Shigaraki at this point. And he knows that Dabi is still out there, and somebody has to stop it. And when he goes out and he doesn't do it, then inevitably Shoto will have to do it. It's just a 16-year-old kid. So he knows all this, but a part of him that says that it's kind of, I'm ready to give up anyway because it's so hard. And now it's like, oh, go out there and do it. Love it.
Like, and I don't think anybody envies his position, because what I do think this kind of highlights is how every single aspect, including the #1 hero spot, has been romanticized and tainted and like has a ridiculous image attached to it, thanks to All Might.
Yeah.
Because All Might brought like an era of peace, but All Might was like OP. And so everybody kind of expected, like, oh, now that we live in this era where we track the heroes, the number one hero is a nigga that just like, boom, they're like Saitama. They're All Might. They just, everything's handled, done, finito. And that's not really how it works. And every other country, the number one hero might exist, but they still out here struggling. It's just that that's like a hero that everybody's like, hey, that guy's great. Because obviously the US, like they've directly stated, Japan's hero system mirrors the US hero system. So we have a number one hero in the US as far as My Hero Academia is concerned.
Clearly not enough to stop 20+% crime rate.
Exactly, though.
Yep.
The norm for a number
Endeavor
one
has
hero.
been struggling with this role ever since he took it.
Yeah,
And now it's just too heavy. It's too much to do.
Right. The actual role of a number one hero is not what All Might did. But All Might made it seem like that's what being the number one hero was about.
That's why when he became number one, it was such a struggle for him because like he struggled his entire life to get that number one position to be better than All Might. And then he finally gets it and he's just like, well, shit. Now what do I do?
Better, he's worse than All Might. He doesn't have to do the same shit.
Yo, listen.
And that's actually why I love that now we have Hawks and Best Genius both behind the door because you can see them all work together now.
You know what? All Might even more ridiculous merchandise.
Hold on, we got a super chat.
Let me hit up because our blast is one of the faithful that comes through weekly. Shoto really made connections with 1A and he only became better because of it. Correct. Yep. Sometimes a friendship, okay, I know we always shit on the power of friendship, like because of its execution in a lot of anime, but conceptually and like in the real world, friends can be a really powerful thing. So,
wait. Can you say that again?
Both conceptually and in the real world, friendship can be a very powerful thing.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. All right, never mind. Go on.
What the hell was that, bruh?
Hey man, keep going, Aniki, because I want to jump right off this point.
So I did just want to like highlight that, like Shoto's connections with his friends, and the thing is that as a person, like we were discussing some of the stuff that I've been through before stream, friendships can both show you how good the world can be and make you resent your own world more. That's definitely a thing that I got to experience when I realized like a lot of people's worst days were like super easy, and like I was like, man, that just means my life sucks. Got it.
Yeah.
Like
I mean to be like that.
Like that's how you learn that, is like finding out like somebody's worst day is like
or relative, right?
like they're like, oh, like this is like terrible, and you're like, oh man, what happened? And then they're like, da 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 da, and you're like I once had somebody explain the worst moment of their life to me, and I almost asked them, and then what happened?
It sounds like a normal day to me.
And then what?
And like I didn't say it out loud, and then I was like, "Oh shit, that was the big moment."
Story.
And then what?
That's why I never really thought about my worst days, other than making jokes about it, because I know that I'm just privileged, and my worst days probably your all's.
Yeah, listen. This is my thing. Every person runs differently. Everybody values something differently. So I would never downplay somebody's action in real life. I never downplay somebody's experience just because if they haven't been in something as bad as me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel that what you experience, you live in a different class than me. So something you experience as inconvenience may not be the same, like, at a naked eye, but in depth, what you value, and that might have been hard for you, but I live a different life. So I won't downplay you. But there's something I want to talk about because of our blast and what Aniki was saying and what Saya said. So, although you all do know, the way I hate that bitch ass bird is different than the way I hate that fucking snake ass patch face motherfucker. I can't believe. Oh God, I hate that nigga with a passion. There's two different levels of hate. So I'll never downplay how I appreciate how Hawks has a raw aesthetic, raw character design. Is a great character. He just killed my favorite, so I can never be on his side. But it was so cool how them niggas like. It's funny how there's like almost like some high school slice of life shit. How like Endeavor's in the room with his family, and those two just outside like eavesdropping. And it's funny that our blast talked about Shoto making all these connections, and it's funny how not just for power, but Endeavor's rise and everything is all culminating in more ways than one. That in order for the next generation to rise, they're not all being like how All Might is just this one person to do everything on his own with no support, and like he just that much of a god. It's like everybody feels so much more human and grounded, and they come together as friends as they support each other. So it's like Genius and Hawks are gonna be right there supporting Endeavor as he comes back into the fold and makes his statement, and the all one there will be there supporting each other as okay, we have to move forward off this somehow because UA going down. Well, what have all things that's going to happen, and the fucking streets are crazy as is, like, bro. So it's like it's beautiful how everybody's going to come together in that sense too. And like Anaki was talking about earlier, like I don't care how you really feel about time skip, but like there has to be a certain amount of time for the kids to experience how truly fucked up this world is. Like Shigaraki has to take over. It has to be for a fair amount of time, and then you got like me expect me to believe it's just like, all right, some 16, 17-year-olds, all right, we know all the problems in society, we're gonna fix it. Like these are a bunch of niggas that don't really know a lot about the world. They need to experience this stuff too, and then rise over the previous generation who need to take their back seats, whether it be crippled out their fray or just giving their knowledge to what's wrong, or they're like whatever have you. You be whatever side you want to be, whatever character. But it's like they have to grow as an age and experience a lot of shit that's wrong for them to actually fix it. Because it's not just fighting. That's not even the issue. A lot of shit didn't start with like I couldn't beat this villain. No, it started because niggas in the household don't know how to raise a child.
Yeah.
They don't know how to take care of quirks. Like it's simple stuff like they should have done a long time ago, but nobody want to listen to Ujiko. Nobody want to do this. Nobody want to do that.
Ujiko was right.
Oh, quick question. How would you guys feel if Ujiko became an ally?
To who?
No.
The heroes.
No.
Hell no.
Ujiko to me is like the ultimate evil apart from All for One.
Bro,
No.
especially after Mike was talking about, I can't even stand this nigga's disgust is overriding the hatred I have for him at this.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. Do you think the government would care if it meant they could get their access to their own Nomus?
No, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care, but it's about. So you gotta put it more in the context. Are they forcing Ujiko to do it? Because the difference between you holding me hostage and me doing it, and me being an ally, like how Stan would be an ally, makes sense because they're trying to take niggas out. That would make sense. But Ujiko, that nigga, like, he not looking for the greater good of them. He looking for the greater good of All for One and Shigaraki.
All right, real quick. Hold on. I got super chat. I type long comments about Spider-Man coming through once again. Vigilante's Endeavor was trash, and people who thought Ray was going to rip Engie a new one can't read. Touchy subject, but what's the future for Engie and Ray? Oh, man.
It's so difficult. I agree about Volume 2 that you said. About the two statements you made. I absolutely agree that I don't like Vigilante's Endeavor, and the fans it was naive to assume that. But about the future, it's very difficult because for the longest time I thought that they have to divorce. And now they come together as a family so much that at this point divorcing would seem like an odd turnaround. Like I still think it's probably the best option logically, but it's also they're already coming together. Why would they divorce now? It's like it's very difficult.
That's what makes it weird, right? It's like she's taking all these steps where it's like if you like could they get divorced? Sure. Like was there enough bad shit done to justify divorce? 100%. Does Ray's behavior seem like she's about to just leave for sure? No. But did Ray's phrasing in her letter to Shoto imply that there's a good chance that there was a divorce coming? Yes.
Yeah.
So
I mean they're already living separated, so I don't know if a divorce is necessary at this point because they're already
that's the point. I was
living apart.
Yeah, they just lived apart for so many years. So they might still be called women and men, but they're still, they're not really, But yeah, I would like to know, Aniki, did you see the super chat of Arblast?
Yeah, I already read it.
But Shoto.
Okay.
Also, real quick, yes, Mayuri is greater than Ujiko, but Mayuri also has several hundreds of years on Ujiko.
Yeah. I mean, Mayuri Kurotsuchi.
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
that's
definitely.
Not fair. That's not fair.
I mean, Mayuri Kurotsuchi is one of my favorite Bleach characters. Of course, he's better than Ujiko, please.
Like, he's and way more panel time. Like,
way more panel. And he's way funnier. He's way more entertaining. I mean, Ujiko is entertaining in the sense that he's very creepy. But that's it.
All right, well, okay, then what's with the Ujiko slander? Dang. They just started tearing this thing apart.
Mayuri is just amazing.
Mayuri just clear, that's all.
I mean, listen, I agree when Mayuri is like, better, but you ain't have to tell the nigga Ujiko a new one. Like, she like for everything I hear, it's like she like comparing.
It's not slander. Mayuri is the one who's running around like a giant firefly fuck. It's amazing. I love it.
You could prop Mayuri up without tearing Ujiko down at every other turn. She's like for everything Mayuri got, it's Ujiko lack. I'm like, God damn. Like, all right, I understand the first two days. She keep going. She beat Ujiko ass. I'm like, shit, what he doing to you? Anything he really helped you because he gave you one of the greatest Endeavor panels known to man. So you working with the Lord of Darkness. That shit went crazy, boy.
Do you think that Ujiko was the doctor for Dabi because we didn't see him? You know what I mean? That he was the one to say to Endeavor and Ray that his quirk was
that guy had hair. That guy had hair. We proved it with that. You could tell that nigga actually had hair on his head.
Yeah, no,
Ujiko had used Life Force way back when it's like that nigga's been older. So he been bald for like the longest of time. So that wouldn't even add it up.
Maybe he wore a wig for a time.
Nah, he was too famous by that point. He definitely too famous by this point. He been in the game for a minute.
I cannot wait for 1,000-Year Blood War to get animated. Anyway,
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Too. I just want to see Mayuri Firefly. It's so great.
And yes, the way he did Cesar Laporo, chef's kiss.
Oh yes, that speech he gives about perfection and shit.
I hate that.
God damn, yes.
Okay, like let's be real here. The Espada did dirty, but
did.
Like the way the Espada got taken out, every time one of them got taken out, it was raw as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Neutra lost to fucking Kinpachi.
Yeah,
we got the backstory on how he was trained in kendo for a day. And
he's just like, okay, I know how to beat you. Let me use two hands to slice my sword. All right.
Okay.
But Mayuri is just a special case. Mayuri is like, if you had a choice between jumping out of the window and dying 100% and fighting Mayuri and dying at like 70%, you'd still jump out the window, right? I mean.
Yeah, no, I ain't going near him. Yeah.
Because even if you live, is it going to be worth it? Probably not.
Nope. No. My experiments.
Hey, no, I love the way Stark went out. Especially Kyoraku was actually my favorite captain.
Yes.
So he was like black.
Mayuri is also a great captain.
but we talk about, who got taken out in that badass way. We're gonna talk about who got hold. The Zero Squad should not have got hold like that. Them niggas pulled up, bro. They pulled up. They like, yo, they can't come out. They came out. They the GOAT came up the rawest panels. They like, yo, how did you get over here that fast? I'm like, I created the first Zanpakuto, so you don't know the true meaning of what.
And it looked like a black man. I was happy back then. I remember,
it was like, yo, your spiritual pressure is like you really do it. And they showing all these gas ass panels that gassing these niggas up. These niggas getting folded left and right. I'm like, bro.
No, bro. Ichibei was raw.
Yeah, Ichibei, that shit was how you.
It was like, I'll knock you back 1,000 read.
Yeah.
Bro, when he said, don't be careful when you speak my name because your throat will be crushed.
Yes.
And Yawak tried to talk shit and his throat actually collapsed. Like, come on, bro. Like, that was raw. This man said his name was looking like Inumaki versus Anami. Like, come on.
But speaking of which, I don't want to be petty, but the JJK fandom has now reached this point in which they see what we go through every year on a constant basis. The stupid ass takes that don't make no sense. The nasty,
wait, what stupid ass takes?
Somebody really said like JJK is being carried by his animation right now.
Oh, that
Like,
shit.
like it's just the
Well-
stupid shit that makes no sense just because it's popular and niggas want to slander it. For no,
Every story bad anime.
They're not going to say that when the next arc gets animated.
no, they
because-
will. They'll say it's everybody's animation again. 'Cause-
Isn't that Gojo backstory?
well, the next arc is Origin Obedience, and then that's Gojo's backstory. But Origin Obedience is still clean. It's got some clean ass fight.
No, Origin of Obedience is automatically
Just
going to
got it.
pop because you're going to have the reveal of the Shadow Chimera Garden, and you're going to have
Nobargo.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Then you got Nobargo dummy. Like,
I'm the only honored one. Oh man, that's
oh nah, bro. I didn't want to imagine.
Plasma. They can't squeeze Plasma Vessel into this season, but that's what we start in season 2 with, and I'm here for it. That's my favorite arc in JJK.
But like, still, like, to like it for me, it's like Shibuya and PLF were inclusive of everybody going in, but as a standalone arc, like just the arc, it's like NBA to me. Like Plasma Vessel is just like that shit. Like fuck, like bro, come on, man. Like Plasma Vessel is just that you really like, and the transition outside of it is just like, you know, that shit was too, like I seen that animated in my head when I was reading it. That shit was too fucking clear. I don't care what nobody say.
Look, Plasma Vessel actually has my favorite fight scenes in all of JJK, specifically with when Geto's fighting the Shikigami user, and he pulls up, and then you turn the page, and this is one of those. I love when mangaka are like, this is how the medium functions. Let me utilize the page turn effect.
Yes.
And you turn the page, and there's just a fucking puppy.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, da-da-da-da. And he's all happy for like a whole page. And he's like, I see. And then the next page, just that. Yeah, fuck him up.
Bro, Mappa went dummy though. Props to them. I did not remember that the panel where Yuji and Toto were like fucking flipping around for the first tree attack from Nami. That was only one panel in the manga. They turned that shit into a whole 15-second clip of these niggas flying the fuck around these fucking
Yes.
out like, yo, son, please stop. That shit don't make no sense.
Bro, the way they like had like the magnetic aesthetic for Toto and Yuji's feet thing, bro. When they push off each other midair, dog.
I did not know that
was fucking great.
All right. Let's get back on subject.
Yeah.
I mean, the chat was enjoying.
Like the stream, guys. We are at 80 people, 80 slides. Just let's get it to the hundreds. That we
also, here's the thing. For the people in the chat, because you're mentioning how Bones needs to step it up, I think Bones did. If you assuming that they went as hard as this trailer implies, it looks like they took every fight seriously.
Yeah.
So if they took every fight seriously in joint training, there's a lot of potential to have some just amazing sequences. For those of you who have seen the movie, you remember Tokoyami versus Slice.
Mm-hmm.
We should be able to get something on par with that with like the Black Sabbath scene. With the first round, just there's a lot of potential with Ibata. There's a lot of potential using Gavon. There's a lot of potential using the Sue angles as well as the Shinso maneuvers. And in general, you got Kaminari's attacks that are going to be pretty big and flashy. For round 3, the clips they showed of Ida versus Mudman and the clips they've shown of Shoto versus Tetsu look beautiful.
Cannot wait.
I can't wait to see that.
Speaking of which, season 5 trailer comes out this week. We got another one apparently.
Oh shit! All right, I'll finally talk about it on the channel. Like I'll probably do a video for that.
Yeah. So
I can't wait for the Bakugo glory.
Yes, sir.
Every day, any day. When I will see him whoop niggas like number 1 to number 2 to number 2 to number 4, like just whoop them one after each other, I will be a happy man in animation. That was the peak fiction for me in the peak moment of the arc. My number 2 will be with Mudman because Mudman is my favorite character of 1B. his Quirk. I just love his Quirk and the way and his character design when he with his outfits, man. He looked like it. I really like the concepts. But yeah, man, I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more about the animation for Bones Have Preserved because for me, they messed up my character overhaul. But I can't wait to see what's happening next one. Oh, when you see JJK and the way that the Mappa just go hard on the animation wise on their stories, bro, it is so shocking. When God of High School was an example of how versatile they are in such with animation. How many
Okay,
styles
hold on, because you brought that up. Ooh. Undead Unlook is announced in the popularity poll. That's so nice. Anyway.
Oh, I got the link. I got the link. I'm gonna drop it in the
Oh,
description.
sweet.
I'm gonna find this.
What I was gonna say is that you just reminded me, Ponzu, that they really truly used God of High School as an advertisement for how they were gonna do JJK.
Facts. That's what it is painful. That's what it is painful for me as a fan of a God of High School. It is just because also they complaints that they had that they couldn't do it as the best, as the best that they could do. But animation wise, it was above and beyond. What we see DJK, if you just check the God of High School, man, they just they just killed everything. Oh, bro, and it's just every type of animation. So I can't wait to see Chainsaw Man with Mappa. Every Mappa project right now, I'm looking up for it because they're so versatile to animation wise on the animation department. They can use everything.
Now I'm kind of curious. What are you guys expecting to be like the best fights in joint training? Like as far as like the anime executing on it, delivering like a proper experience.
The best fights will be
like where you think Bones
is
going to be like
Ida's team.
Yeah.
Ida's team, yeah. That was the one who had the most I will say violence. I will say the was the most of had most movement, you know. So with Ida running around and even Madman like swimming around the ground, stuff like. And yeah, you get also the Shoto stuff versus Tetsu. The fight that was more. That was like he was like punching. I just want the punching to be longer because it's gonna be happy to see Shoto Todoroki to get some punching in his face. That would be funny just to see that for longer on the animation, like bah, bah, bah. But yeah, next to this, yeah, Bakugo. I think that they will the sweep will be in animation will be terrible. The movement because Bakugo has like the way that he uses his quirk is really athletic. You know what I mean? The spins, the speed and everything in animation is gonna be so well done. I can't wait to see that fight. Really, that is the one we will see Bakugo on his he always fights at his best, but there will be what he's really capable against. Just with a great team, great information, how effective that he is. Oh man, just I can't wait to see that. Really, the one that will be also interesting. The one that I'm curious how they will do it will be the first fight. So with Kaminari and
Ibara, like I mentioned earlier.
Ibara, yeah, because the one with the beast quirk, the way that he changed his quirk, you know, really at really fast, you know, he changed his body to dodge stuff and things that can be interesting on the animation the animation department, you know, from really big to really to just like normal body. So yeah, I can't wait.
Who was the other two people on Shoto's team besides the Ida? It was Shoto, Ida, who else?
Ojiro and Shoji.
Yeah.
And Shoji carried, by the way.
No, Pony carried, literally.
Ha,
Yep.
fun.
For whatever reason, I don't even really know why, but I'm really looking forward to Momo and Tokoyami against Kendo and Kurohiro because this Kurohiro Tokoyami combination was so fun.
Yeah, I think it's going. The best fights are going to be because first going to go to Shoto and Ida. That's because Mudman's going to have a lot of tactics in the fight. The way Ida blitz pretty much everybody, and no one's going to expect Shoto's team to draw against them because Shoto's being one of the big three of the school. So
yeah,
next one probably Tokoyami and
My God.
what's it called? Who else they had? They had Froppy, Shinso,
Momo. Wait, no, the other team I meant.
Team 2. So in the second match, it
Momo
was
Aoyama, I think.
Yeah, it
Momo
was
Aoyama and
Hagakure.
Hagakure, right.
Oh yeah, and then that team.
That's why I don't see you on the picture.
Yeah, that team probably going to have the next best, and pretty much, honestly, even this is funny, but Bakugo probably going to have the worst match, even though it's going to be the most entertaining for me. But it's like when it comes to like the fighting and the choreography that actually happened and how everything unfolded, it was just a one-sided beatdown.
Yeah.
One-sided, the less excited it is.
Because based on like the trailer, the impact frame for when he like tries to blow up Jack the Ripper, it looks like to me it looks like they actually decided to go hard on every single fight.
Good.
That's what the trailer looked like to me.
Well, I'm hoping for it. I mean, they can't, of course, but it's...
No, I think they could, because I think that there's certain episodes that during joint training, especially because like people are like, oh, like it'll be like 5 or 6, but like I think they forget that like there's vestige stuff and like that. There's certain moments that really require almost no animation that like, because it's just like them like standing there and talking, where there's a couple moments that I think that they'll be able to get away with like doing really low animation, like wide shots, and that will allow them to like focus more on those fights, which will lead to like some of the conversational moments just kind of like maybe looking a little stiff maybe, but if the action moments are like super, then that's all people are going to care about.
You know what's funny to me though is that all I really care about is these openings and these endings. I'm trying to see if they're gonna hit home run. Honestly, my biggest fear is like, bro, just nail the NBA opening and ending. That's all I care.
They need to nail that one.
I need the NBA ending to be like some slice shit that I can't get nowhere else with Twice. Please, I need some like you having fun, some slice life shit. Please, all I'm asking for an ending on the fucking NBA, bro.
Part of me is worried they're gonna do like an NBA ending, but no OP.
Yeah, which would be fucking ass and shit.
Like because we've had this conversation, and like I was thinking they could kick up the speed and do 3 chapters an episode, unlike last season, and then that's how you would finish on the chapter that's like the heroes vanish from the streets. That'd be really fast, but there are certain parts that'd be viable because of the amount of action.
Yeah, I think if you switch the three thing into the latter half of the arc, that works. But the beginning parts of the arc are mainly dialogue. That's heavily
right, and that's like the one issue that I have is that I think it's possible with joint trainings fights to constantly do 3 an episode and like be cool.
Yeah,
but in like an NBA, it might be possible.
I mean, you can extend a minute or I want to say a minute or 2 for some of the fights or some of the background stuff for some of like the things going on, but it really won't be that much in the grand scheme of things because like you can extend Mineta and Mina fighting. I always forget her name. Poltergeist and the other one.
Yeah.
Kodai and the other one. Yeah, you can extend that, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't really do that much. It's just like it's an extra minute or 2 just for buying time.
Real quick, I think the 2 most important things coming out of the season I want to see. I want to see how the community reacts to NBA, the anime community at least. Yeah, so that it's going to definitely change the perception of My Hero as a show. So I want to see if it's going to be majority positive or negative. Probably going to be positive because no other shonen ever had a a whole story arc dedicated towards the villains and their growth and their goals. But other than that, but people usually do find a way to hate on anything. So so I'm still being like a little bit cautious when it comes to the community. What's another thing? I had something else on my mind. I forgot this. Now I forgot it.
You was thinking about that girl you supposed to see, but you stood her out last week. Yeah, we know.
I did go to girl. Wait, go on.
With NBA, I think that I personally do expect it to kind of be largely positive because I think people already like twice. And I think specifically, I think people especially when you think about how people there's not enough death. There needs to be more death with like this Paranormal Liberation War arc. You have to realize that a lot of anime onlys are going to see Toga splatter like 8 people using Ochako's quirk for the first time.
We better see that splatter.
And see Shigaraki DK like half the city.
See, that's my biggest concern is what are they going to censor in MVA and what are they not? Yeah.
Even if they don't, even if you don't get to see the splish, right?
Give me the sound effect.
Yeah, there's the reality is that people who are watching this for the first time, they're going to sit there and be like, "Oh shit, she just dropped those people while wearing a half Ochako face." Because like that scene, like people were freaking out in the manga community, and I think it's going to be the same in the anime only community because they're going to get Toga's backstory. People are going to be like, "Oh my god, she like stabbed that dude and blah 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 blah," and then they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, she did this," and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god," So I think that like when some of these events are condensed into like one episode, they're gonna just kind of sit down and be like, "Oh shit."
I think because the early on in the arc, the tone gets set up pretty well too, because like basically the chapter that starts NBA, like if they do the Shigaraki decay of the My Hero shit, the little narration stuff like that. But it's like if you do it properly, it's like okay, they start off killing KKK members in the beginning of the arc, essentially. And it's like then you actually get to see them one by one, slicing niggas' throat, compressing that dude's arm off, Toga stabbing people, Shigaraki decaying people. Like then you see like it's Quirk races in there. Like I remember all of us going crazy when we first found out. Like Aki was like, "Yo, you got racist."
I can't wait for the voiceover of Spinner. I can't wait for this. Just the introduction of that scene, just to say, "Yo, I'm Spinner. I am Takadanana, and I am today accomplice of murder." Ta-da! I can't wait. Yeah, man. Oh, bro, I can't wait to see that. The way that it was portrayed, and it was really to show we went from the light side of the society to the dark side of the society, where you got mutantists, like I call them, racist, like not racist. That's not more race. It's more like they're just against people, humans, mutant humans, mutantists. So, and you get stuff like that's beautiful. That's just like you're facing the KKK, man. It's just like you're talking about, like you're facing the KKK. You see them people killing them. The villains of the street are killing the KKK. That's just like what are villains then? So the word villain just changed because the CRC people are not. If you really think about it, these are people that have like maybe they're just normal citizens. You know what I mean? From the My Hero Academia society, but still, they're villains in a certain way. So yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Hold on, Aniki, because Pansy was talking about how earlier you said that Shoto called them failures and stuff like that, even remembering and talking about it. He didn't call them. Shoto never called them failures. He said Endeavor, from his words, Endeavor said, "Don't look at them, Shoto. They belong in a different world." And who called them failed experience was Natsuo. So Shoto never said that. Because Coffee went back into the chapters and he showed that Shoto never called them failures. It was from Natsuo saying that.
Okay, thank you.
Kaneki.
Oh yeah, no. I was just reading something else. Because it was a JJK thing that might have meant a lot about Yuji. So
I haven't read that chapter yet. So
Yeah.
But in general, when we're like discussing the overall framework of MVA, there's a lot of high points within the context of the art. And especially because I think a lot of people don't like Shigaraki, seeing him actually do a lot is going to make a lot of people be like, oh, like he doesn't suck anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be a big topic of conversation.
That turning point was at Overhaul, actually.
Well, yeah, I did see a lot of that too, where people were like, oh, okay, Shigaraki did him like that. Okay. Like there was that like big discussion. So I could see it going even further where people are going to be like, okay. And some people already find Twice likable. So the way I see like Twice's backstory kind of playing in, like I said in the other videos, like, you know, Twice can become many men because he's supposed to represent the everyman. And so I kind of see that as like, people are going to be like, damn, Twice really was just down on his luck the whole time. Like, I think a lot of people are going to start seeing some of that. And that's going to create more of a dialogue, because the My Hero fandom being as large as it is and having people from so many different backgrounds is going to lead to these kind of topics where some people are going to be like, oh, like I adamantly stand with Twice now because of what he's been through. Like in the same way that like East loved Hawks until Hawks did what he did.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Like, so there's that conversation is going to be coming up and like building towards the surface, and people are going to have lots of questions about whether or not Hawks killed Genus or not.
Yeah, because
that's going to be a topic.
That shit is wild.
So there's so much within MVA that, and let's just say they do get Endeavor Agency in there, because if we're running on the hypothetical, that in of itself, like that ending, pun wasn't intentional, but that's where we are. That whole wow, thanks. Wow.
Be your own niggas. Be the people closest to you.
But like that whole situation, even that's something that I think a lot of people would be willing to talk about. So to a certain degree, maybe we do finish on, you know, the heroes vanish from the streets, just because I could see people being like, the Nomu or what? Like, and that, like, if that's the finale of the season, it's like this big Nomu reveal with Shirakumo and the heroes vanishing from the streets, and then you just don't know what's happening until season 6. I don't know. Like maybe that is the move.
Yeah, you know what's so funny to me about that though is that I find it the showcase of how the story escalates, and Horikoshi still hasn't hit the peak of this shit yet is so funny to me, because it's like every time we hit a new season coming up, by that time it rolls around, it's like, all right, but when they get to this part, it's like right before season 4 hits, like, okay, I can't wait till we get to season 4 overhaul stuff. Then we get joint training NBA. It's like, okay, now I can't wait till season 5 hit, but we was on season 4, like, no, we need season 5 now. But by the time we hit season 5, we're like, no, but season 6, you know what I'm saying? The whole war arc. So it has me think like, okay, by the time we get to season 7, what the fuck are we going to be in, bro? It's like, that shit is exciting to think, because it's like, my brothers, like, all my brothers, they're like, you know, not my brothers, but basically we're brothers, but like, they're all anime only, most of them. And I'm like, bro, you just don't know. Like, my other brother, he started fucking with Shigaraki after he did what he did and shit. And I'm like, okay, now wait until you get to season 5 and you really see what this nigga about. He just go fucking dummy, especially with the Sakuga they'll probably have versus Redestro, and this nigga obliterates an entire city like a crater. Stop playing with me, son.
I just want for NBA to be like really poetic. You know what I mean? I really want that the anime emphasizes this crystal religious aspect of Shigaraki. That would be so perfect if they can bring some lights, you know, like the heaven that if the heavens, the wall, the clouds just make like a pathway for the light to shine out Shigaraki to show that he's like the second coming of Jesus. Man, that would be so perfect. I just want this stuff to be like that the animation really emphasizes the analogy of that how Horikoshi writes his character. You know what I mean? The way that even the capitulation of with Destro, stuff like this, you know. I really want this moment to pop when whoever Destro killed his secretary. This moment must really shock us and also be sad for us, you know, because he was crying back then. You know, he was crying when he was killing him. That was painful, man. Yeah, really the voice actor must be at their best. Like we must have like a Joker type stuff for Destro. Oh man, and the scenes, the way that they're portrayed too, like the reference to I forgot the last joke. I think so. Batman, the last joke. I forgot the name of it. When all you need is one bad. All it needs is one bad day. I forgot the name of.
Oh, the Killing Joke. Killing Joke.
Killing Joke. Yeah, the Killing Joke. Yeah. All right. So the Killing Joke, the reference with the panels when he was moving his hand stuff. We need this. We need this. We need this stuff in the anime. In the anime. I can't wait. Allez, MVA is for me my favorite arc of My Hero Academia, and yeah, guys, I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more. The anime has a lot to do. I think so. A lot to do after what they did for me for season 4, to just take out the legs of overhaul like his roots. I hate this. I really hate that. So. Yeah, and how did we introduce the mouse stuff? How did we maybe never talk about it? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see his channel take off during EA. You know, she gonna put the face cam on. She'll be like, "Guten Tag, you guys. It's Sayas here."
That was nice German to say. That was actually perfect German.
Endeavor is the best, as you know.
Yo.
You practice your Guten Tag, oder?
I was in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? I was like, see, I did it better. Like, I'm gonna nail it this time. I got it.
I showed him the
gonna start a
version.
podcast called The Church of Endeavor.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking and Say's gonna come in. Enough of that. Enough of this chapter this week. Endeavor wasn't in there. Now about this My Hero episode, I'm like,
now we're talking about my channel. I have a new video.
Go drop the link in the thing and everybody go watch Say's video, because I didn't know you had one now. We would have watched it. Next time you guys got a video, put it in scripture so we can get it out. And you can tag everybody. We don't get it.
Like, yeah, you're a bishop, Sayas.
I feel bad about.
Man, it's a church for MHA.
I know.
That's the best Endeavor content out there. So these niggas gonna shut up and read it. Like, watch it. Shit.
Like I really told myself I'm not gonna make an Endeavor channel, and now I have 3 videos, and 2 are primarily about Endeavor.
But the thing about it, what I was going to do today, like on the scripture, something for your video, because I wanted to watch it after the live. When I saw that you were already talking about 302, I thought to myself, okay, she read the scan, so I can watch it.
Yeah, that's why I put the 302 in the title.
Yeah. Oh,
criminal says literally.
Man, she go really when she summons an Endeavor, she really goes really fast to be illegal. Look at her.
Hey, Sayas has been a YouTuber since 2018. Actually.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But I have a channel since 2018, but I didn't do anything. And now I have a new one, which is just since January. But
Sayas, that means we've been friends since 2018.
3 years later.
Ooh, yeah, right. By the way, what's your birthday? You're gonna turn 27 soon, right? Or 28?
28 next month.
Okay, next month.
Oh man.
What is the birthday?
Oh my god. They add walk-ins. The pain. Who you when Attack on Titan came out?
Oh god.
Man,
I hated
young
that.
Asses up.
I saw it. I was just like, man, I was getting drunk watching that shit in college. Like, Some of those kids saying like, "Oh, I was about to turn 3." I'm like, "No, you weren't. Sit down. Go back in your mom's womb." No.
Go back in your mom's womb.
Okay, Jaren.
No.
Okay, Jaren. Right at Jaren way.
Like, no.
What happened? What happened in
Dogs, look, somebody said they were 27 when Attack on Titan came out, and some kid managed to ratio them by telling them to go start a family. That shit.
No. Hey, he did them greasy. Wow.
Damn.
I'm like, what?
Some shit just don't make no sense, like, at all. Like, some things are just fucked up how they get quote retweeted. Like, like Croc, how he posted like the spread, and he had his 2 fingers on each page for the volume, and they told that nigga, "Why you on there like this coochie?" That nigga got ratio for no reason.
Bro, the thing that was worse about Croc's ratio that day was that Realman switched his profile picture to a selfie to get and open his DMs because he was getting so much clout just in case any girls wanted to slide through. That's how hard he ratioed him over holding his manga open. Like, dog.
I said, nigga, that shit terrible.
Like,
wow.
Like, don't know Twitter words and numbers don't mean nothing to me, but son, that's just a bad way to go out, man.
Yep.
That's a bad way to go out. So, shit.
Okay.
I just imagine my father became my father when he was like 27. So when you say when I was recent when thing came out, I don't know how many. He's like 37, something like this. The guy right now for yo.
Wait, Chocolate. So Chocolate said you should be on your second child by now.
Yeah.
And
no.
Okay, so first off, there's a couple things that go into that.
One, we had his third.
There was a meme I ran into like a couple years back that was like, "All right, 25-year-olds, when's that second baby coming?" And I was like,
"What?
What the hell? Man. What?
I was like, when did I have my first one?" And then,
I mean, just skip the first. Toya proved that they don't work out anyway.
Oh.
We have a saying here, which is, I don't know if you have that too, that children are like pancakes. The first never works out.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow, that's painful. Damn. Respect me. I'm the firstborn.
Yeah, me too.
Same here. I'm the firstborn. I'm doing just fine. I'm doing quite
I
well.
actually find it funny how great that children are like pancakes saying fits for the Todoroki family.
Children are like pancakes. The first one never turns out. Jesus.
Listen, man. I don't know. There's one thing about that saying right there. I can't. It's not always true because guess what? Guess where I'm at every Sunday? With some of the greatest people in the world, man. Telling you what. Reading the greatest manga with some of the greatest people I ever had the pleasure of meeting with some of the greatest people in this goddamn chat, man. I think I'm doing just fine.
Damn, that love. Also, what I'm going to point out is that one, Toga might have been the oldest in her family too.
Yeah,
2,
Toya, Tenko was the oldest.
Actually, in NBA, she was actually confirmed as the eldest of the Toga family.
So yeah, that's what I thought. I just didn't want to like hard say that yet. Also, at the age that I'm at now, my mom had her 3rd kid. So
yeah.
No, 4th kid.
Whoa.
Oh, never mind.
So yeah, my mom had her 2nd kid already because she was 26 when she had my sister. She was 24 when she had me. It was an other time, guys, for sure. Right now, for me, I'm turning 25 the next month too, the 4th March. I'm really forward to get a child. You know what I mean? And it is social expectations really work a lot on you. So when you want to have child, when you want to have a child, it's good for you. But if you're not ready for it, don't press it yourself to do it because you will make a woman, as a man, a woman unhappy because she will think that if you have a girl that really wanted it, man. Sometimes
you're just gonna make the woman unhappy. You're gonna make the kid unhappy, and probably yourself too.
Yeah,
It's
for
funny,
sure.
it's funny you say that.
Also, quick question.
To the chat too.
Walk-ins and Ponzu especially, this is relevant to you too.
Oh no.
Are we having an Attack on Titan discussion stream when it ends?
Yeah, I'm down. Wait, when the manga ends or that?
The manga.
Yes.
I'm for it.
Because I don't think anybody else in the call right now reads the Attack on Titan manga.
Nah, I just watched the show. Because I'm waiting for the show to even get past where I was. I was in some weird gray area.
Yeah.
Well, I met up with some people.
You just need 10 likes to get the 100. Give it, bros.
Do it, bros. But hey, love you. Appreciate the love in the chat. Love y'all too, man. For me, my mama had me at 18, 19, pretty sure. And shit. Like, I think she was just going into college. I don't even think she finished her first year probably.
Mine was 30.
39.
See,
when your parents had you,
54. Oh, mom, I do. No, 34. My bad.
Yeah, my mom was, I think, 36. 34 too.
Real quick. First and foremost, whoever said that kid comment about like you have to get kids around like our age, y'all bugging. Second thing, I'm almost caught up to Attack on Titan. I'm like 10 chapters behind.
Okay, so yeah, that means like in the 2 months when it's over, you'll probably be able
to. How many more chapters does it have left until it's done?
It ends in April.
It literally ends in April.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
So we're literally discussing like a stream that'll be in April.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down. I'm about it.
So yeah.
Oh, there you go. April stream. Mark your calendars, biatch.
Yeah.
Please don't call me that.
I'm sorry, Sage.
Damn, that's crazy. Anaki on his Toya energy. That's wild.
Somebody needs to edit Toya's face over that "Why Women Deserve Less" meme.
No, listen. Somebody listen. When the scans came out, it was a picture like Nayo. He actually had that shit, and then they edited Toya right next to that nigga. That shit had me Dabi next to that nigga. I was fucking crying, boy. That shit.
How Rikoshi and Gege really are really best friends for the moment. I don't know why, bro. Oh man.
That nigga, they already text each other. Hey, yo, Nayo, he kind of funny, bro. But watch Toya next week. I got something for y'all niggas. They already text each other and shit. That's something that's always funny to me. How niggas like.
I love how like his stands are like now are just like perfectly fine with this. Like one I saw was like, if Dabi tells me to go to the kitchen, I'm going to the kitchen.
I mean, that's a simp. Those are dedicated simps.
Yeah.
Those are gimps. No. What's a female word? A simpet. Yes, a simpet.
Simpet?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going with? Simpets?
Oh. No, but that's the thing about it. When you think about it, that man, that we really started to hate the woman of his family because his sister.
Oh, powerless.
Oh yeah, and Dabi's 24.
No, he's 25. Yeah, 24. He has like 5 years of difference with.
He's 8 years older than.
Yes.
Although it makes his little like insults towards Toga kind of seen in a new light, because he's never said anything nice to her, like at all. Like I've been rereading, and it's like it's always telling her to either be quiet or you're crazy.
I mean, because you're not wrong. I mean, you shouldn't have gone there. You're not wrong, but
yeah.
I mean, the irony of Dabi calling anybody crazy is not lost to me.
It's
but it's so funny for all the other male team members. He's somewhat grown.
We're all crazy for the most part. Spinner and maybe Gusto Cobra.
Like he learned to call Tomura a leader. He, apparently the data book said that he was Twice and Dabi were like brothers.
Yes, they like comrades.
Comrades, yeah.
Which is, again, he actually cares. He just assumed it right.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you've learned to respect everyone, but like Toga and maybe Spinner.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember he had that comment to like saying "drive lizard," even
with
though
the Spinner thing, I don't really think that had nothing to do with racism. It's just like if you compare him to everybody else in the group, he is the one lacking, or you wouldn't consider him that problem. Yes, he's like the second heart after Twice, but now he's the main heart and the main glue that would be keeping the lead together because Twice is gone. But it's like you people don't respect him as much. It's like a pun on him.
I
Like
wouldn't call him the glue.
Hold on, Dabi would respect Spinner by now, actually, because of the fact that
back
Spinner's
then
like back then he wouldn't. Now it would make sense because in the same way that he was like Twice would have helped my dream come true, it makes sense for him to value Spinner because Spinner was literally one of the main organizers and leaders that was getting shit together and getting stuff popping on the organizational front. Like, Spinner was really doing like the Night Eye to, Shigaraki's All Might.
So like it just makes no sense that even after all this time, he's still so condescending towards her. So I think like it's not just hatred for like the women in this family.
I don't think because it's not like he gonna like really do a 180 in a relationship and be like, "Are you okay?" This, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna let crazy girl do her little crazy thing as always. He's gonna let her do. They got a sibling, like they have a funny sibling thing going on right there. It's kind of fun because he's almost like our older brother in a little sense. Because the way they banter and always go at each other, it's so funny that they literally came in at the same time together with their introductions and did the way they did. It's so funny to me. But by the way, once again, Dabi saying he didn't care, but the first thing he do after Hawks and them get away, let's get everything started. He only needed Skeptic to do what he needs to do. First thing he do is pull up on Mr. Compress and ask where everybody else is at the time. And again, he said, I don't plan on going out in a blaze of glory like our dear leader here when they were talking to Ujiko. Guess what the fuck the nigga do as soon as they pull up on Endeavor? Use the fucking brightest and most damaging move he possibly could to attack everybody in that field, aiming for Endeavor. And that's literally the blaze of glory. I highlight like fucking at his peak, the nigga trying to blast everybody, including himself.
Yeah, man. I want Mr. Compass character to explore the corruption of the elite society or something.
That Robin Hood mentality that he mentioned.
Yeah, it is something that I really want to see that too because Horikoshi's really tried to show that not everybody is perfect in My Hero Academia. You know what I mean? Even Deku is not perfect. That's the thing about it. So yeah, I want to see that because when we were present Oji Harima was presented to us. He was presented as a peerless thief, So we thought that he was just a big thief, But yeah, he was Robin Hood, the Japanese Robin Hood. Man, imagine being the Japanese Robin Hood. That's the thing about it. So so it is really a side of the society to show that society just have always in history in society you have always what we call currents, even in art, and most of the time one current will be will counter the new current will counter the old current. That's what we see in art, So with Baroque stuff like this, if you just study out we call it like currents, like reverse, and the new one will always try to go against the other one. And most of the time, it's like life is a circle. You're just going back to where you started. It's really hilarious to see stuff like this.
Also, I'm going to point out that as we were discussing Dabi's misogyny, I've stumbled across an excellent fake Reddit post by Dabi. Y'all ready for this?
All right, let's go.
It's not sexist to say cry like a girl. Girls cry very easily to defend themselves. Every girl I know and have come into contact with has burst into tears, real or not, over trivial matters. It's just how they operate. If you want to be a total simp and deny reality, that's fine. But I like to lend my voice to the side of reality and at least say that I stood up against lies. You get to say what you say with no consequences, so let me say mine. Definitely 13-year-old Dabi.
Yep.
Definitely 13-year-old
Even
Dabi.
self-righteous phrasing.
That's what they call that. That's what he was typing on the computer when they pulled up.
Yep.
Yeah, oh sure. Let me just hit enter.
Yeah, let me just send this real quick. Okay, yeah, let's go.
And Yumi starts crying, right?
And
Yumi, catch the ball.
And
this is why
Nathan version of end up
sports.
just said something. Japanese Robin Hood will be Ishikawa Goemon. I watched a movie about Goemon. Man, that man died he got boiled, and his kids too, if I remember well. Damn, bro. So yeah, Toga. Yeah, Toga right now, we don't know where she is. Yeah, this chapter just ends the flashback of the rookies. I don't want next chapter to be Dabi's origin. I don't really want that. I want really now to see what is happening around the
Hexa.
What?
Oh, I just saw this Twitter post by Hexa. She did he did the Toya burning himself to death in the forest scene. He just posted that. Yeah.
Yeah. This death is bruh,
it looks dope.
Hex is a gift.
Oh no, God must have been like, hey, yo, what if he like gave the super dope artist, but like also made him like love my hero? And I was like, I got all the pieces. Let's make it.
It's so glorious. I could cry. It's beautiful.
Hansa, you were talking, I think.
Oh my gosh, he burned the whole forest down. Oh wow. Oh, that could have actually been like, he could have actually been called for because of the natural disaster, which heroes also cover, which his agency also does. So this could have actually been an event he was responding to.
But I find it interesting that he has, at this point, finally the flames out. Like, apparently for these 5 years, he's been running around as Endeavor and not Engie. And here, I mean, if the flames are an indicator that he's now Engie, that's...
Yeah, he never went off duty. He's always... And we never see him. The only time we've seen... Really? Laughing at the word duty?
No, I'm laughing because just saw the post of Tarnish like almost 1 hour ago. You saw like the picture of like a panel of Hawks when he was like dark and when he was about to kill about to stop but twice, and he just saw the new one about Engie when he was all I can show and anyone is the world of heroes when he was talking to Ray, and you say maybe Hawks look up to Endeavor a little too much.
Yeah, I just found it.
By the way, am I the only one who thinks that the Toya panel is a little bit different than normally? Like the hair seems less spiky and more wavy, and the face overall. The one that was colored. Last page or second to last page.
Oh man.
Also, I love how Toya burning to death covers essentially answers the question to the two-parter, because 301 and 302 is called the wrong way to put out a fire. And the answer to the wrong way to putting out a fire was turning up the heat. So it answers our question about the title.
Like, and to a certain degree, you can, if you think about it, the metaphor of turning up the heat is not only like his ambition, but then also the way Endeavor was like, I'll just crush this.
Yeah.
Like he basically increased the amount of pressure and like the social stigma attached to him even further by having more and more kids, because every kid, if he feels like a failure, then it's like, oh, all these other ones are also failures. So now, like, don't you feel this way too? Because Natsuo didn't grow up in here. You have to surpass All Might, which is actually something in of itself that I would like to kind of point out, is that Engie did learn from putting that idea in Toya's head to not put it in Natsuo's head. And then when Shoto was born, because he needed to justify it, and he basically says here, he needed to justify losing Toya in his own mind.
The last another thing I'd like to add is Toya and Fuyumi are separated by 1 year.
Yeah.
And then you have Natsuo and Shoto, which are separated by
3.5
years and like 9 months. And around that time, like they should shortly be turning 4 in like a couple of months, which is when their quirks were supposed to manifest. So I found that detail kind of disturbing but interesting, you know.
I mean, it's a little bit difficult because
those
as soon
were the
as
two children that were supposed to be the replacement of Toya, which we see in 301.
I find this a little bit difficult because the math doesn't quite work out once you factor in that Ray would also have to be 9 months pregnant. So at this point, by the time she would have gotten pregnant, Natsuo would be almost not quite 3 years old. So like if you assume that as soon as they try for a new child, she immediately gets pregnant magically, yeah, that will maybe work.
You need to try a couple of times.
Yeah, normally it takes a while. That's the thing. It's kind of telling that they are exactly 3.5 months apart. From Fuyumi to Natsuo, it's exactly 3.5 years, and then from Natsuo to Shoto, it's exactly 3.5, more or less.
I also think that part of it is just Endeavor was a hero at the end of the day. And after the Toya thing, I think he was working a bit more on trying to surpass All Might himself again.
Yeah. And to be honest, 3 years is actually a kind of a natural distance between children if you're not desperately trying for a child. Like for Yumi being just 1 year after Toya, that's kind of indicative that right after they had Toya, they tried for the next child. This other one's 3 years, that's kind of a natural distance, I think.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that tracks. Like most people say you should have them like 3 to 5 years apart, not super close anyway. So
yeah.
And let's see, I think we covered and that's like the other thing, right? Is that I kind of like the fact that Ray asked him if he even wanted to be a hero.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why
you know what that duty even entails, though. Like that's my question. Like, what do you know about what do you think is the philosophy of this job? Because we can all say we want this job, but do we really know what it entails?
She asked the same question to Shoto, right? If he wants to be a hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, I wanted to say something else, and that's something I noticed last chapter. And because we find out that Endeavor actually knew how to train kids long before Endeavor Agency. I remember that when Endeavor Agency came along and he trained Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto, and we were all surprised because he's somehow a good teacher, and he didn't show that with baby Shoto, with 5-year-old Shoto, of course. We were all thinking like he realized this in between. Somehow during Kamino Board Pro Hero, he realized how to be a better teacher. And now we know that he was actually a good teacher for Toya. So when they trained, he was actually being a patient teacher. And we also have this scene about that Fuyumi was born to support the masterpiece, essentially. Like they had more children to support each other. And it's very interesting that for Shoto, all of this philosophy goes out the window. So even though the kids were actually born, Fuyumi at least was actually born to support the masterpiece, he actively isolates Shoto from Fuyumi. And I find this very interesting because it's like he actually knows how to raise a good hero, how to train a good hero, but he's actively sabotaging himself in this way.
It all comes back to like how you manage your anger.
Mm.
Like a lot of his like more physical abuse. I think like because we see in chapter 39, he punches Shoto, and he's like like if you can't take a hit like that, you're not even gonna fight a third-rate villain. Like you're not even beating those guys. Like that's how weak you are. Not even taking that hit, but it's like he's actively. But that doesn't sound like someone who's thinking logically as a teacher. Right. That's someone that's thinking as okay. You're not making progress as quickly as I'd like, and that's angering me. So I have to take that anger out. And we also see this with how he reacts to Ray.
Oh.
He's like, "Get out of my way!" Bop.
So what's the conversation right now? I've been going for like 10 minutes.
So I think like a lot of NG's like hitting is fundamentally rooted in number one, his inability to healthily express his anger and mostly his frustration, and also the fact he's kind of taking a role of a disciplinarian with his entire family, which you're not supposed to do with your partner.
And also, what I actually meant to say was that it sounds like with Shoto, we very much get the impression that he is very impatient. He wants Shoto to do everything right at 5 years old, 6 years old already. But also he is actively sabotaging Shoto's process. And it's kind of weird because we know now that Enji knew this. And like the decision to separate Shoto from his siblings is one that in Enji's own logic, because he said so that he knew this earlier on when Fumi was born, was actively sabotaging Shoto's process because their siblings were there to support the masterpiece, but he did it anyway for Toya in a way, which is really odd because you have this situation where he's very harsh on Shoto, but he's actively sabotaging him for Toya.
Well, we talked about that. I think you and I both agree, like, Toya is the actual favorite.
Yeah.
Like the one that Endeavor was actually happy to have, the one that he was actually looking for. Because unlike Shoto, who Endeavor had, like in Shoto, sure, he's the masterpiece, but he's no longer born to be the masterpiece necessarily. He's born to protect and save Toya. Like he was always born to save Toya. In a really twisted way.
Well, it also makes sense because Toya is essentially his mirror image. You know, like there's kind of like this thing where parents, they kind of prefer the child that represents them the most, like kind of like a younger version of themselves. And he has that same stubborn pigheadedness, but he also has that same energy of like, oh, I want to do this. He has that determination. He also just has basically his quirk, but like bigger, you know? So it's like you have this mirror image of yourself, right? And you know how you think, and he looks like you when you're younger. So it's like you have an innately kind of stronger bond at that point.
I think it's not just that. I think it's also just that Toya is the oldest. I think Enji had this child to become the masterpiece, but he wasn't actually prepared for the fact that once a child was born, he loved that child. And then when Toya was having problems, he's sacrificing everything and everybody and getting more children just to protect and save this child in a very, very twisted way. And he's ruining everything because he loves Toya. And I think the reason he loves Toya so much more is not so much because he's similar to him, that too probably, but because this is the one child that was the first child that he allowed himself to love, and all the others he just had as tools to save Toya. So when Shoto was born, he just saw him as the tool to save Toya and the tool to reach All Might. He didn't see him as this is my son. He saw this is my tool. And when Toya was born, he saw, well, this is my son.
But it's also the fact that you also have to keep in mind that he's Endeavor's the type of guy to not healthily express himself. He bottles himself up, and you see this a lot. So it also comes down to like this training isn't. I'd say this training is for Shoto, like on paper, but it's also a way of expressing that frustration. Because logically, it doesn't make sense for when a 5-year-old can't take a punch from a 200 plus 6'4" man of muscle. That's not logical.
Yeah, but he knows this is not logical because he didn't do it with Toya.
But if you look at it as in him expressing frustration, whether it's his inability to get number one, whether it's his ability to surpass All Might, whether it's the fact Toya keeps burning himself, it's that frustration that keeps making it worse. And so he kind of takes it out on Shoto in training. Like, it's not just like, I hate to say bonding time. It's not just spending time with Shoto, making him this perfect like hero. It's him. It's also, I'd almost say like it's his own really messed up version of therapy. He's taking out his own frustration on him, and his wife, accordingly.
I still think that maybe Endeavor might have somewhat blamed Shoto for not being able to save Toya.
He couldn't. He's his father's son. He just doesn't give up.
Yeah, of course he couldn't. It was the logic was wrong in the first place, because he had Shoto so Toya would stop, but Toya didn't stop. In fact, he got worse and attacked Shoto. And I think maybe Endeavor blamed Shoto for that, because he didn't do what he was supposed to do when he was born.
Like, I think the part that Endeavor really truly missed out on in his logic was All Might being able to change the weather with one blow never stopped this nigga from trying.
Yes.
So the son that looks like you, takes after you, has like your firepower, and then some. I mean, nigga, kind of look at the context. Like,
not only this, man. The fact is that he's his first child. He learned to love that child that was happy to get trained by his father. They had like bonding moment. They had the father-son moment, man. That's the thing about it. They had before, and Endeavor saw his child from the beginning, and he had this father-son bond that was really that he developed since that he was born. You know, he started to train him, stuff like this, and when they went to the doctor, and everything changed. You know what I mean? Just imagine. Since I'm telling you, I'm sure of it. Endeavor took his child as a baby, and he told him, "You will be the one who will surpass All Might." He was literally talking to his child when he was a baby. He was talking like this. I'm telling you that he was doing this for sure. That you will be the best. Stuff like this, and as a baby, you just it comes into your head. You know what I mean? Like he told them, you put the fire in me and you try to dub it out, man. Like that is something.
One way to put out a fire.
Yeah, that is the thing. That's the wrong way to put the fire. The man was literally, like I told last time, he brainwashed that kid to really think to become the best, be big, to be better than All Might. There's something that is a seed that he really put in him. That's the thing about that they really look alike. It really took on his father because he looked up to his father too. You know what I mean? There's something that is really important to see, that he looked up to his biggest model was his father.
I'm half convinced even that Toya wasn't actually all that ambitious about defeating All Might. He just wanted his attention, Endeavor's attention, and he thought he would get that.
And that's the problem.
He thought he would get that by defeating All Might.
Yeah. And that's the problem with Toya, because like he had this mindset of, ever since he was little, okay, dad's loving me because he's training me and I'm gonna surpass All Might. I'm gonna be the best hero ever. And then all of a sudden that changes because he physically can't do it. And that's why I think Ray is asking Toya about if he's being a hero, because I think because in her mind she's just like, he just wants to be a hero, so Endeavor can notice him. But that's why she's always saying like, oh, there's many paths you can go down, you can do all this other stuff, but that's not the case. That's not why he's like literally trying to kill himself. That's why he freaks out on her, being like, you don't know anything, where'd you get that? Some self-help book, all that stuff. It's because he's trying to find a reason to be like, because it's when he confronts Endeavor, I might be as awesome as Shoto later on or soon, like, because he's a 13-year-old kid right now. He's not dumb. He knows why he was created and why he has brothers and sisters. He realizes that this is what Endeavor's trying to do. So he is literally going crazy trying to make sure that he knows himself he is not a failure. And how does he do that? By constantly training and pretty much killing himself to show Endeavor that he is not a failure.
I mean, it's really heartbreaking because you.
Sorry, you go on.
Okay, it's really heartbreaking because we have this little tidbit from Angie's perspective when he talks about little Toya when they were small, and you kind of realize that he would have been happy even if he didn't surpass All Might. So
yeah,
and now we know that Endeavor specifically went away from Toya and didn't spend any time with him at all because he feared that therefore that Toya would be more obsessed with becoming a hero. But really, the truth is probably that if Endeavor had spent time with Toya would have been less obsessed with defeating All Might.
Well, he just needed to talk to him because, like, and like Endeavor even says it. She's just like, all I can show anyone is the world of heroes. So yeah, it's one thing of showing, but dude, just talk to your kid. And like that point right there is basically why Endeavor was not ready to have kids.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that between Ray and Angie, they read a single How to Parent book.
Yeah,
and that's part of which I think that might be literal because I think Toya's comment isn't baseless. Like so far, anytime Dabi shit talks someone, there ends up being a lot of validity in his story.
Oh yeah.
So like that self-help book comment was probably real.
Yeah.
And with the way that they like with Endeavor, the thing is I don't even think he's lying. Like yes, he kind of just ran away, but Endeavor doesn't seem to have any hobbies. He doesn't have any interests. Like all his life has been about is being a hero.
Yeah.
Very similar to like I always say, like the way heroes are like romanticized. He's very much like similar to a jock, like somebody who's trained their entire life to be an athlete. But like there's like the blend of militarism to this because of the whole state sponsorship and whooping niggas' asses. But like
that's the thing about it. He trained physically.
Sometimes you just gotta follow someone.
He trained physically stuff like this.
So the question is like, what was Angie gonna talk to him about? Hey son, back in the day, I bought your mom because I was so busy saving the day that I didn't have time to learn how to flirt. Hey son,
I think even if he had talked to him about hero works, even if he had come to his side and said, hey, by the way, today at the job I did this and this and this, it would have still been better because I'm half convinced that the only reason Toya was so obsessed with defeating All Might was because he thought it was the only way to get his father's attention. But if he had gotten his father's attention just talking about heroes, he might have settled with just being a random hero or not a hero
it's also a matter of the psychological aspect of conditional love, essentially the conditions where affection and attention are procured. And what we see is that only happens when they're training. So what you're conditioning Toya to believe is, okay, if I'm training, I get attention, and if attention, I get affection. But the moment that stops, that he also realizes, because he's also very perceptive at this age, that the attention and affection also stop. So Angie can think, oh man, I really love this kid, etc. But he's never showing it.
Definitely. I agree. I meant this more from Angie's perspective. Toya's perspective makes perfect sense if he thinks like that. Just that Angie he thought about how do I make my son stop? And because he didn't quite understand what his son actually needed, he thought the only way to stop him is to get away from it completely, which had the opposite effect. And that's just so heartbreaking because I think he was genuinely thinking about what's the best for my son, and he just came to the direct opposite decision of what would be the best decision.
Oh, those Discord noises.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like,
right,
so it makes sense why he wants to train so much, because like that's the only real place he ever was really shown that attention. Which is why I say, failure to, which is why neglect also covers, it's not just the fact of you not actively doing something, it's failure to act. And a good, responsible adult in that scenario, they're going to look at this and say, okay, I don't really know anything else besides this. Let me broaden my horizons. Which is why the self-help book comment actually, in hindsight, it's kind of funnier to me because at least she was trying that in a fashion.
Was she? I mean, yeah.
I mean, she was trying to make sense of it all because, I mean, again, kind of like with her personality, she wasn't really ready to be a mom. But since Endeavor was all like, yeah, let's crank out some babies, she's like, okay, fine. Yeah. So she herself wasn't even ready.
Yeah, I think for her, it's like the things she ends up saying to Toya in this chapter are basically the same things that Enji tried to tell to him 5 years before that. So I think with Rei, it's very much the problem is that she started too late. At this point, when she started talking to her son, he already had lost all respect for her. So there's little to tell him. And the problem, I think, is it had to end that way. You have two parents who were 22 when their first son were born. So much about having your second child at 25, right? The 22 when the first son was born, and they probably didn't even know each other very long before that. I mean, they probably met at 2021, so they knew each other for at best 1.5 years before they had the first child. None of them really wanted a kid. Enji just wanted to have his successor, and Rei was just going along with whatever Enji wanted. Of course, it doesn't work out that way. And then they have a kid that is a little bit more difficult than the average kid. And
in the flashback of Endeavor, she said she wanted to have kids. He said so, but so yeah, something.
She only meant that for Fuyumi.
That Fuyumi.
You can kind of reverse your decision. It's not like
I think he said something like she agreed, and then she wanted to have
more. That's what they had for Yumi. That's what they had for Yumi because he was happy he said that when he had his first child, he was a happy man. He said to himself, I was happy. My child was enthusiastic. He wanted to train. I was a happy man. I didn't want to have more kids, but she said she wanted more, and that Fuyumi could have support her brother. So he said, okay. He had a second one. That's why that the age gap is so big. It's because he was 13. You get 5 years of difference between Natsuo and stuff. It's because he was born purposely to make the kids stop. You know what I mean? He was purposely born to have a successor and to have to stop Toya to hurt himself. So then 3 years later other men so when they saw the quirk of the leader of Natsuo to show that they couldn't have that he wasn't good enough, they went for a new kid. They had Shoto, and Shoto was the perfect one. At that moment, he knew that he was that his father had found a better one than him. Oh man, it's difficult to talk about this in families. That's fucked up. But yeah,
it's really heartbreaking.
It's like being reduced to animals, and it is facts. That's what we do to animals too. You know what I mean? Dogs and stuff. Yeah, that's true. That's what he was doing, and he knew that. That's why Quirk marriage was seen as so wrong. You know what I mean? But it is something that we still do till at LA. That humans have made too. You know what I mean? To have strong children, stuff like this. Yo, man, it is something painful to see, but yeah, the quirk, his quirk was not. He had not the physique to have the power. His power, his own power was too great for his own body, and that's the story of Toya, the story of the boy that his potential is he couldn't handle his own potential. That's painful. That's painful. That's life. Something like this happens in today's society till today. Some people can handle what they have, and it breaks and the society don't help either, and breaks them. Break these people.
Wait, where were you?
What?
I cut out for a bit. So, what were you? What was the conversation?
We were talking just about how the situation between. I was just saying that the Toya was an example about having, about having potential, but your body, but you have something that doesn't help you to achieve that potential. You know what I mean? He had a great Quirk, but his body didn't have couldn't support its own potential. It's like being smart, but being an engineer and stuff like this. You know that the society, your family can help you to achieve some stuff. Because and you even your own body can handle it. Like, stuff like this really happened. He was from what we saw. He had a growth spurt. His young brother was literally bigger than him, and they have like 5 years of difference. That's hard, man. Imagine your brother is 8 year old. You're 13. You're in your middle school. So you start you're beginning to start to go in adolescence. So your interest in women, stuff like this begin. And your brother, 8 year old kid, he's still at school. He's bigger than you. Your own sister too. Man, damn.
One of the saddest parts of this whole of the just one of the saddest parts of the chapter was Engie didn't even come to the hill.
What did you say? I didn't.
So you know how he asked him, "Hey, can you show up at the hill?" And he was like, "No."
Well,
he did. He showed up at the hill.
Hold on, because you have to remember that he didn't want him to go on the hill at all. So he's not gonna go enable that and be like, "Yeah, let me go to the hill. I'll go." Because he's like, "No, stop going to the hill. Stay off the hill."
He was so excited. Yeah, but he was like so excited for it.
He showed up when it was burning.
And then he was still by himself. Like, hey, I feel down bad at that point.
He showed up after it burned though. So.
Also, East, I'm glad you finally read Undead Unluck this week.
Oh my God, son!
I'm reading it right now.
I should pick. Oh, I ain't gonna say that no more.
Oh shit! This is good so far.
That final page. Can't wait for you to do that final page.
Bro, that's fitting for a first year anniversary. A first year anniversary chapter. Yeah, that's
we just got this one dislike, man. What's the problem, bro? Tell me. Who are you?
They ain't like Undead Unluck. That's what it was. They ain't got no taste. There's no passion. No mechanism. Nah, Matt. So far, everything was on fire this week. Hey, listen, for JJK, all I got to say is,
I thought we was gonna get some
breakneck speed. That's all I got to say. Breakneck fucking speed. Like, nigga, chill out.
We got a break next week. Breakneck speed.
No, breakneck speed.
Like.
Next week, my bad.
I remember seeing this one tweet about like people reading scans of My Hero. It was the funniest stuff.
Oh,
did you see it?
Don't tell me you're talking about that ugly ass one. That shit was nasty. I don't even know what scans that homeboy.
Oh, that what is neuroscience scan?
Whoa, who find that? That junk was nasty. Bro. We're like that shit was just ugly and nasty. Please don't ever do that. Like, I don't know where you the scans from chat didn't even look like that. I don't know where homeboy found that shit at. I swear to God, they typed in their own shit. I don't know where they got that from.
I remember it was like, oh yeah, I remember. But one of the
how many double page spreads does Undead Unluck have this week? Holy shit! I love this.
You're right.
Okay, so I remember that like shit. One of the first like scans of the chapter that came out was that in which someone basically imposed a Google Translate translation on top of it, on top of the dialogue, and it was like, he is quiet like short. he's like, I need to pay for many graces, and then it becomes neuroscience for what?
Bro, I don't even like reading it. I tried to read it and it didn't even flow. Like it seemed like panels were going like 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3.
It was the funniest thing.
Like, what the heck is
it translated neuroscience. It translated neuroscience, but the actual what it was supposed to say was Nomu.
I don't know, bro. That shit was ugly. I don't know what that
no
was.
wonder people think so lowly of the series. They can't even read it.
Yo, shout out to shout out to fucking who was it? Shout out to Al to Al. He was talking about people reading Academy of Heroes. I'm like, yes, bro. Like exactly. Don't worry, Al, Fatier, Anthony. Nobody gonna actually spoil what happened. We just gassing it up. We got you though. We're nobody gonna spoil.
But
Yeah,
actually, hold on.
Scans we talking about
later.
Hey. Huh?
About to.
Right.
We about to wrap up. That's why.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a long stream, wasn't it?
Yeah, like that was gonna say we were wrapping up like 5 minutes ago, but then like people kept talking, so I was like, all right, I'll let you guys keep talking for a little while. But now, Ponzu, you can get your final thoughts off real quick. Then we'll go around the horn like we always do.
Okay, that's good. So happy to be here. Sorry that I was too late. I was sleepy. So I was sleeping. So yeah. Yo guys, bro, I didn't sleep the whole night. I was working on my story. So yeah. So yeah, I'm really happy for this week. And you guys also helped me with this chapter. So I'm a happy man. Can't wait to see what's the next chapter. I just want to see more right now. We just saw are the number 2 and number 3 respectively. So we might see more stuff about the world, about how Japanese reacting about stuff. And yeah, and the people that dislike the video, damn guys, I don't know what happened, but yeah, hope that you find peace. And yeah, like that video. Let's bring to over the 100 likes, and love yourself. And I love you all, guys. Thank you for watching us. And yeah, support this in the chat, even hating us. Thank you, guys. That passion, that fiery passion of an endeavor, still in you, even if you're hating us. Thank you, guys. Ciao.
Oh wow. Oh, they get embodied.
Yeah, Squid. Final thoughts.
Sorry, I was just reading JK again. I was like, wow, they're really gonna get.
Squid is sometimes just saying random things, and I have no idea what he's talking about.
Red laces, number 3, just getting bop on the ribs. You feel me? Okay, so, this is a 10 out of 10 chapter. Phenomenal writing, very realistic. I noticed a ton of various psychology there and there. It's truly like in-depth writing. It's fantastic. I love the art, and it is an extremely tragic tale. Also misogyny season. So 10 out of 10.
Why? I didn't expect this.
Walk-ins.
Look, 10 out of 10 chapter. I mean, God, this is good. This is great. Horikoshi knows how to write the gray area. Don't be afraid of the gray area. It exists. Don't run from it. Don't hide. It's there. Horikoshi the GOAT. That's all I got.
Hail Hories. Put them in the chat.
I love this chapter. I think these 3 chapters, 300 to 302, is probably my favorite stretch of chapters. Not quite sure which is my favorite chapter overall, but definitely my favorite stretch of chapters. I loved the flashback. It was so complicated and complex. I love how it develops all the characters in the family. Especially Endeavor is now growing in like 5 different dimensions, and I love it. Yeah, a 10 out of 10 chapter.
All right. Let's see. Is that all? Is the undefeated of the East all that's left? I believe that's the last one who needs to speak his mind. Well, so go ahead. It's your time, Archbishop East.
It is the undefeated of the East.
Give us the sermon. Give us the sermon, good Lord.
Once again, we are back here again to praise Horikoshi. Good Lord, I never get tired of doing the same thing every Sunday and Friday, which is praising the GOAT because he can't miss. He just don't miss. Absolutely phenomenal peak fiction. Like, bro, what am I actually reading? Like, this shit is amazing. It's a masterpiece. If the heavens came down and they slapped this shit in my face and said, listen, this what it is, bro. Like, this is a fucking work of art. I cannot stress enough that this chapter broke my top 10. This is literally a fucking tragedy happening. Like, from something so simple causes so much disaster and pain. Just one obsession, just one fella trying to do the right thing, but you do it the wrong way, and how it led down to the path we are now. And there's so many obstacles, and it's finally beautiful to see all the pieces of the puzzle finally come together that we've been working on since fucking basically day one of the story. It's finally all here and connected and intertwined, and everybody had a moment to develop from this, which is absolutely fucking beautiful. Like, Endeavor is one of the best written characters in the series. Toya right up there now, like one best written characters in like Toya Dabi. Shoto coming back up and with his father, and now they moving forward. It's just like absolutely phenomenal. The art is good God. As far as listen, bro, it's top 10 chapter in the series. Like it's top 10 like of all in the series so far for me. What I will say about the upcoming chapter is the Dabi thing is actually still Dabi origin is actually still possible because the way I know how Horikoshi writes, if you have those two outside of if you have Hawks and Genus outside of Endeavor's room, you can really like maneuver through and still get to the Dabi stuff. Honestly, like they don't have. We can have them like moving on. It's like, yo, what do we do from here? Because I actually like when these three pair up, it actually be a funny trio to have like another big three trio that have going forward. This would actually be funny to see. I do hate Hawks, but yeah, it actually be entertaining to see these niggas move forward because Hawks and Endeavor basically got to renounce their hero names, but still move forward as heroes, which is an interesting factor because it's not all about the big bolastic popularity shit. It's about your heart being in the right place to be a hero. You know what I'm saying? Was you come forward. So forget all the flashy shit now. It's about what you do. But once again, 10 out of 10 don't cut it. Peak fiction out of 10. Horikoshi is the GOAT.
I respect that. All right.
So wait, what's your rating?
You've all made your piece?
Yeah.
All right. Let's take us home. I wanted to give everybody a shout out that came through. Special shout outs to BG and Flo who came through earlier, as well as JD Legend. Always a pleasure to have JD on stream. Love it. Roger was in the chat for a bit. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody else who was in the stream because I'm terrible at remembering everybody who was here. Shiro, yep, because Shiro was here. Brought out the VTuber. We brought like a little extra energy to the stream, a little something different, something special. But yeah, and as always, we thank the viewers. Drop them hail hories. We appreciate y'all every single day, especially me. I appreciate y'all more than the rest of them do. Believe that. That's it. Y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see y'all next Sunday. Try to get a review out by the end of the day. We'll see how that goes. Y'all